There's usually like between that and the live, there's like a 5 second delay or 3 second delay
Okay.
between what we say and what the chat hears.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Mic check, mic check. Are we live, chat? I think we're live. Yeah. Yep, we are live, right? Hey, welcome, my friends, my family, my fellow gamers. Thank you for rocking out with another Friday night live with Puertorock77. And today we got special guests who y'all requested. We got Xvault Gaming up in here. I guess y'all want the drama. You want to hear some Xbox shit talking, some PlayStation capping in full effect. I don't know why you guys want. No, but in all seriousness, though, we got him here. He was able to do it. Look at that, already with a super chat. Yo, we finally got Xvault. So the first super chat. So I wasn't playing when I said they were requesting you. Right off the bat, they said finally we got Xvault. So y'all wanted them, we got them, we're here. So hey, Xvault, my brother, thank you so much for coming through.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for inviting me. Thanks to the community also for requesting. I think it's awesome. I'm always more than happy to pop on podcast and have some fun and chill with the community and go over a bunch of topics. I'm always down and super excited. So thank you again.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. It's good to be a good time. I want to say to the chat, thank you so much for coming through. If you don't mind, please hit the like button, share this out. All right, tell everybody, yeah, we got Xvault here and stuff like that. We're gonna have a good time. We're gonna shoot the shit, I guess, whatever, right? But what I like to do is start out is just real quick, right? Just a real quick, summary, right, and stuff like that. Like where you started, like where was your first introduction to gaming and like your first gaming experience, and then how you pretty much gravitated to, I guess, various stages of your gaming, career or hobby into where you're at now and stuff like that. So where you started,
Yeah.
like where's your first introduction to gaming?
Oh man, let's see. This will affect the age thing, right? That we get kind of thrown out from time to
Yeah.
time. But
Yeah.
so that being said, obviously started out in the 80s. I did start with the Nintendo Entertainment System, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was just past the Atari stuff, so lucky enough to, in a way, start with the Nintendo Entertainment System and started from there. I didn't have any grudges towards any other console. I had it all, right? I was able to do it. I kind of swindled my way. We weren't very, you know, I would say even middle class back then. So trying to get something like games and video game consoles was very
It was a
difficult to
challenge.
come by. It was a challenge, yeah.
It was a
So
challenge. It's not like
the
now where we could get them all. It was
yeah,
a
we can
time
get them all now,
where
right?
you got what you got.
Yep. So it's
Mm-hmm.
it's brutal. It's brutal. But we started there, man. I got that. I ended up coercing the folks at the time, like, hey, what kind of chores can I do? We need to get a Sega Genesis. We need to start from there. So basically, gradually going up, right? I had them all. I had them all. I went through every iteration of Nintendo consoles. I played on Atari systems with my friends and stuff like that that had it. And I went through every Sega iteration. The only one skipping was the Saturn. Um, Came back during the Dreamcast. Thought that probably one of my favorite consoles of all time was the Sega Dreamcast, right?
Dreamcast was amazing.
Yeah, just
Got it.
still to this
Yep.
day, still goated. Just unfortunate how that came about. But yeah, I mean, I even had an OG Xbox. I had the 360. I had them all. It wasn't until the Xbox One generation that I took a step back and said, "Nah, this just ain't. This isn't in the direction I'm looking at." Right? But yeah, that's where I started, man. Man, I started back from the NES and where we are today, and been gaming ever since, and as often as I can. So
Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Pretty cool. See, look at that quick recap and stuff like that,
yeah.
right? So now, how about content creation? What got you into
Mhm.
content creation with video games?
Yeah, so about 5 years ago or so, none of you probably heard or knew of a podcast called Attack the Stack. I started there. There was a gentleman. I know he doesn't mind me throwing his name out there. He's a good dude, but his name literally, I'm not joking around. His name is Zach Morris. just like the
Oh
guy
man, from
Saved by
Save
the
and
Bell, right? Yep, literally Zach
That's
Morris.
pretty funny.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. So, an acquaintance, I didn't know him. I had in real life friend that knew him and gamed with him, and he wanted to start a podcast of sorts and call it that and do some other things. And he brought him in, and he liked my gaming knowledge, brought me in. So we started doing that for probably about a year and a half, until I kind of bounced out of that because there was just some odd decisions, and I was, weren't really seeing any effect of anything as far as like I didn't know like, hey, are we growing? I mean, what's the end goal, right? So we did that for a while, but he still was great. I just think there was just a lack of direction in certain aspects, and so it kind of dissolved, unfortunately. Um, and his wife is amazing. Actually, part of gaming mocap. She's done all sorts of stuff. She's Bat in the Sun. That
Yeah, okay.
yeah, creation there. So she's done. If you paid attention, she actually played Harley Quinn in those,
Okay. Oh wow.
opposite of Joker and him and all that. But she does a lot of like mocap for a lot of games from Star Wars, as far as not the Force Awakens. Off the top of my head, man.
Okay.
What's the latest one
The new one,
with the
Outlaw?
redhead? Yeah, no, not Outlaw. The one right before that. The one that Souls like.
Um,
What can I think, chat?
oh my God, the one from EA.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
two of
the one
them.
from EA. Yeah,
Oh my
two of them.
God,
One was
Fallen Order, Fallen
horrible.
Order,
Thank
and
you, Fallen Order.
yeah, there you
Thank
go.
you.
Got it.
Okay,
Thank
so
you.
she's done
Chat
mocap and
comes
stuff
through.
in there. Yeah, chat comes through once again. So she's done that, and amongst other stuff, she did Black Cat and Spider-Man. She's mocapped for that. Her name is Amy Jo Johnson. Go give her a follow and stuff like that. She's also done some action flicks. She's been a stunt double for Black Widow in Age of Ultron. All
This
sorts of
isn't
cool shit.
this is not the same AV Joe Johnson from.
Not Power Rangers.
Okay, that's why.
Close,
All
but
right.
not Power
I was like,
Rangers.
wait a minute, we're not talking. All right.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, is that Pink
Yeah.
Ranger we're talking about here? All right. Okay, no,
Yeah.
it's just the names.
It's
Now wait a minute. A lot of people with the same names of like Zach
do,
Morris,
it's
AV Joe
crazy.
Johnson.
Oh.
That's insane.
Yeah. It is. I was like when I first knew her and talked with her a little bit here and there, it was Johnston with the T in there. So it took me a minute, but yeah, she's black belt, all sorts of stuff, crazy, but good
Awesome.
people. That's where that started. So I took a break right from that. I was like, look, I'm not going to do this stuff or whatever, right? And full circle, a couple years later, so I was super bored. I didn't even mess around on Twitter or X, right? I was like, I don't get on there. Like I was just super bored one time. I think my car was getting serviced, my truck was getting serviced, and I was just in the waiting room. And I was just like, good Lord, there's nothing going on my phone. And so I got on there. And not even 10 minutes in, man. I've never been on that app before, previous to that. 10 minutes in, I start seeing all the crazy shit. All the crazy shit that we see every day, right? As far as
you got sucked in.
you get sucked in right away.
You weren't meant to see it.
Is this real? No. And after a couple weeks, I got sucked in, man. And then after like 2 months, I'm looking at the stuff and I'm like, I'd comment, do certain things, and I was just like, this can't be real. This
It's
can't be
always
real.
real.
Like, so I was just like, well, yeah. And I was like, there's no fucking way. And so I was just sitting there, right? And after some time was passing and all that, and I'm like, you know what if I just started messing around with some stuff, not the salt stuff, right? But just started messing around with some stuff and news and blah blah blah, and just start from there, start from the basics, see what happens, and and that did okay, but it wasn't until obviously the salt stuff started seeping in, and I'm like, you know what? Let's hold some shit to the fire a little bit and see what happens,
Just enjoy the chaos. You know what? Don't hold
Yeah.
back. That's like me. You know what? Let's just unleash the chaos and see what happens.
Yep. It wasn't honestly the go-to. It wasn't honestly something I wanted to do even. But I was just like, shit, man, this is just, how many PlayStation salt channels are there? I mean, as opposed to the other
it's
side
insane.
of things, right?
It's insane.
It's
insane.
So
it's insane.
yeah.
Even the shit. You know what's funny? Even when it's like something so obvious, they still find a way to make it like when Xbox like went third party and everybody's wrong. They still say, "Oh, PlayStation is doomed with Microsoft strategy." I'm like, wait a minute, hey, how they found the way to make us look like we lost in this fight? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what? Like, what? How did we end up like? How did the PlayStation guys get the look like they're on the bad end of this thing? Like, we're getting more games. So how like. I just like they found the way to spin something that clearly impacted the Xbox community, but they spun it to make it look like a PlayStation negative. And then all the talk like, oh, Doom, the Trojan horse strategy. I'm like, what the fuck what is happening here? This is the first time that I'd ever seen a platform get more games and they're the ones in the bad position. I'm like, what? I'm like, what?
It's true.
I've never seen this before.
No.
Oh man.
It's
oh my God. They
insane.
found a way and people bit into it.
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, this is the first time in history I ever saw a platform get slammed for getting more games. For getting the competitors' games. I never seen that before. Like that didn't happen to Nintendo with Sega. When Sega went away, that's it. It was just no one did that. No one said the Sega Trojan horse strategy about to invade PlayStation and Nintendo at the same time. That wasn't a thing. It was just like, all right, it's done. No more Sega consoles, and we just moved on. But this was hilarious.
It's and you think about it like, shit, this is satire, right? No one's biting into this or whatever, but. Just for context, right? We all know Goat Gaming, that account that constantly just makes shit up every post, right?
That's fucking hilarious.
And that's just what it is. Like, I understand it's satire. People are so pissed at this guy, and rightfully so, right? But it's satire. He doesn't mean it.
It's the beauty of the account, because the beauty of the account is he suckers both groups.
Yeah.
If he was just like he does it such a way that. He does it enough to where the Xbox guys believe it and the PlayStation guys get pissed off. And they don't both see it's full of shit. And that's what's the beauty of it. It's hilarious. He gets both sides. I seen people reference Go Gaming in serious conversation. They reference Go Gaming in podcasts. And I'm like, oh, man. I'm like, oh, my God. Oh, my God. People say, we got a leak from trusted source saying this is going to happen. And then they show Go Gaming. I'm like, oh, no. Like, no. It's
worse. It's like shit. And then you, for further context, and there you go in there, you read the comments. Like you said, there's people that believe it. Oh, yeah. And then they should do this and this. And I'm like, if true, what do you mean, if true? What do you mean, if true? What the fuck? Like, what are we doing here, guys? What are we doing?
Oh, man. But, the deep dive conversations of them trying to take those statements and validate it, those are even funnier. They're like, I predicted this. I'm like, oh, man.
It's like,
oh, man, you guys really don't know this account at all. And some of it's not even, and it's not like he's trying to make it believable. His stuff is like far out extreme, like bullshit. Like it's it's obvious. To the obvious gamer, like, man, this is some wild shit. No, for some people, it's like, oh, man. Like emergency meeting between Sony and Microsoft, like some weird shit. Totoki had a private meeting with Phil Spencer and Jeffrey Epstein on the future of Sony. I'm like, what? What the hell is this guy talking about? It's so hilarious. That account's so hilarious. All right. But hey, I want to ask you something real quick, all right? Let's talk about a little PlayStation. This is, before we do, let me hit up the super chats. We got Doughboy, P-Rock, and Xvault, my two favorite PlayStation creators. All right, thank you so much, Doughboy. Really appreciate it. All right, we got Major Claridge up here, 3 months as a member. Thank you so much. And of course, Major Claridge gifted somebody a membership. So please, whoever received that gift, please thank the Major. I truly appreciate it. And we got Glassdoor Gamer. Shout out to two of my favorites in the space, shutting down the grifters in the spaces daily. Xvault getting gas to lose his ish was hilarious. I'll tell you, the banter between you and Gas, I don't know how that started, but that is hilarious. It is absolutely hilarious. I don't know how that started, but it's funny.
Man,
It is
man,
funny.
I I love it. I honest to God, and I've said this to him. I tried to kind of break bread a little bit with him because the dude is talented. All
Yeah,
right, the dude
yeah.
is talented as far as comedy goes, as far as awareness goes on that stuff. And when he made that shit on me about the koala stuff, the little documentary, I was laughing my ass off. I thought it was
How did
fucking hilarious.
I thought? I'll be honest. I thought you were from Australia when they
Yeah,
started the
I
koala
should be,
stuff. I
mate.
thought that was
But
like
yeah,
the tie-in. I'm like another Australian, because the Australian gamers are coming
yeah,
out there and participating. I'm like,
yeah,
okay, another Australian. I'm like, I guess,
maybe so.
you know, just like
Yeah, it was there, but no, the dude for
Mhm.
real like does not like me, and I think he got some
He really doesn't like you.
information. He really hates me, really, honest to God, and I get it. I mean, but I tried to streamline it. I tried to you know break down kind of what the perception is, but he just didn't want to believe it. The kind of that inner circle thing, and I think it all started because he thought I was part of the whole Epic Treasure drama when she got
Mm,
her account banned, right?
mm.
Suspended for good, and I was still new on X. I
Wait, her
was new
account
on Twitter.
suspended? I didn't even know that.
Her OG was, yeah,
Oh,
her
the
OG
OG.
account was
Oh, okay.
suspended. Yep. And there's a group that wholeheartedly said they're the ones that were mass reporting and the ones that did it. And they got mad at me because I was kind of got pissed at her and I said a comment, you know, and so basically because of that, because I said, karma in the comment, they thought it was definitely me that was part of this whole shindig. And I got upset with them because there was a guy, I don't know if you would remember, if anybody remembers. I don't remember his full username, but he was Nate something, not like Nate the Hate or anything or whatever, but it was like Nate something. And he was going through some real men's mental health stuff, right? And so he was in a chat line with that in the comment section being super nice and whatever, and she just kind of jumped down his throat like way hardcore, like tore him down. And I was like, that's not fucking cool. Stop being a beezy, right? Like
Hmm.
that's not cool. And then, anyway, so it just kind of stemmed from that. And so they just think I'm kind of part of this whole underground shindig that's getting people removed. And so that was the first like step on the cape, so to speak, that they didn't like me from. And again, if I did something, I'm always like I tell the audience, like I tell everybody, I said, I'll be upfront. If I screwed up, if I did something, I will own it. I'll be honest. I'll say I'm part of something or I did something, but that just was not the case. So
Also, they tied that and kind of said that it could be potentially this, but
yeah,
yeah, once to be honest, that's just how the internet is. Once they say they think you did something, that's it.
mhm,
There's no
yeah,
going back at it, right? It's like, yeah,
yeah,
once
yeah,
somebody makes a claim, they make a claim with no proof, and then that's
yeah,
just pretty much it. You just be like,
yeah,
whatever, F it then.
yeah.
Okay, all
So,
right. Oh,
but like I said, I don't take anything to heart. I don't, and again, with Gaz, I don't dislike the guy. Like I again, multiple times I try to kind of break bread and kind of ease under the thing. And, I'm fine with jab and jab. That's what you're there for online. If you're gonna be part of something, you're gonna get the jabs back and forth, right?
yeah.
That's natural. But so
Mm,
yeah,
all right.
yeah.
Okay, all
So
right.
a
That's
little bit
interesting.
of tea there, I guess.
All
But
right, I guess yeah. So we got a little bit of behind the scenes in the life of a soul content creator. All right, all right, all right. Here we go. So hey, so quick. So I want to talk to you a quick question about just talk about PlayStation in general.
yes, yeah,
Over the course of this generation, throughout your years of playing PlayStation, right? You playing on PlayStation 1, 2, 3,
hmm,
right? And then the 4, and now we
correct.
got 5 and stuff like that. How's your overall opinion on PlayStation, right? What
Hmm.
they've done so far, the decisions they made and stuff like that with the platform, with the direction, the decision, obviously the decision for more profit, for growth, for more success. How's your overall opinion about PlayStation now and your outlook on the PlayStation brand? And I know that's a
Yeah,
big,
no,
big
those,
thing, but we could bite,
yeah,
obviously gonna chew this elephant one bite at a time.
yeah. No, that's a good question. It's a good loaded question too, because they've done a lot, right? In the past few years alone, PlayStation has, and it's hard to say. I really try my best not to put my foot in my mouth as far as
Mhm.
predictions for them, because it really can't go anywhere. And how I feel about their direction is the same way I felt from the beginning. The more exclusives, the better, in my opinion. It bolsters the economy. I get a lot of pushback on that, but exclusives do bolster the economy, their ecosystem rather. Sorry, for those platforms, whether it's Xbox, Nintendo, or PlayStation. And if you ever do lose those, whether it's to PC even, I understand why it goes to PC, but if you lose those to PC, if you get an IP that goes to Nintendo and or Xbox, you lose that value in the ecosystem. You lose that competition, and competition, like I say all the time, breeds success, right? You
Mm-mm.
just got to have it. People think that they come back and their biggest rebuttal is, yeah, well, we don't get to play the game everywhere. It makes sense for the consumer to play the game everywhere, but to me, they don't look at the larger picture, the bigger picture, and say, look, what do we get as a consumer out of a closed off ecosystem? I know it doesn't look good on the first glance, but again, if you get competition, it grants better quality. I mean, if somebody can provide any sort of data or anything else out there that says otherwise, I'm all ears. But you that competition creates better quality. It creates a better housing for that ecosystem, and so and then you're going to get more longevity out of those consoles as well. Otherwise, yeah, everything's going to be everywhere. Consoles won't be a thing. You'll have streaming boxes. You're gonna be forced to only play on PC if you don't want to play on PC. The options will go away for you. It won't create more options, in my opinion. But um, as far as their direction, furthermore, I mean the biggest one in the house, right? I seen some of your posts as well in regards to Helldivers 2, right, on an Xbox,
Yeah.
right?
Uh,
Uh, I don't think you're a big fan of that. I'm not doing
I'll
backflips
be
for
honest.
it.
I'm not a big fan of them putting their games on PC. And I know some people
Yeah,
will say, "Oh, PC gamers ain't gonna go to this platform, blah blah blah." And I'm like, I get it. I get the whole, accessibility of the games, right? But I will say the main strength of a console is the games. It's not the hardware. It's not, I mean, every generation, the conversation of a console hardware is in the beginning. Everybody starts out that conversation. But after that, no one cares because you're talking
hmm
about 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-year-old hardware. No one cares about the hardware of a PS5 now in 2025. It's 5 years old. No one cares that it's 32 CUs with smart shift. Like no one talks about that no more. No one's talking about the
yeah,
magic of the SSD. That's like an initial conversation that you start from the get-go, but the conversation's happening because we want to see the potential of the games. But after that, like no one cares about Smart Shift or the magic of the SSD from the PS5. What they want to see is the games and stuff like that, right? But the
yeah.
problem is, like, if the games are everywhere, right, like multiplats, right, then the console becomes a generic device. Now you start questioning: are the developers focused on maximizing the potential the console has, or are they catering to the Xbox Series S now? Is that the minimum
hmm
standard? So now I got a PS5, but they're making games that could play on the Series S instead of maximizing the stuff, right? A good example, and I'll use this as an example, and we've seen it, is the Burning Shores, right? Forbidden West was made for the PS4. And because it was made for the PS4, the way they designed the game, they couldn't, go on on the Scorching Birds, whatever. They couldn't do it.
Yep.
So that impacted us as PS5 gamers. So the base game on Forbidden West, we couldn't do aerial travel because the PS4 couldn't do it. But when they did the Burning Shores DLC specifically for the PS5 and they cut the PS4 fan base, saying, sorry, PS4 fan base, you can't play this DLC. This is built for the PS5. Guess what we were doing? We were now air traveling, on the birds and stuff. See what I'm saying? So the
Yep.
PS4
Yep.
hindered. So, like, when they make when they make part three, and obviously it's going to be built just for the PS5, right? We're going to have aerial travel right from the get go of the game. The
hmm
PS4 won't hold us back. And that's what I'm talking about, right? People think,
Yep.
when I keep mentioning that, they're like, oh, but the PS4 version is going to run better than the PS5. I didn't buy a PS5 to have a better version of the PS4. You know, I understand there's a transitional period with cross-gen. I get that. But ultimately, I want the PS5 to be the base standard for the games. So you can do things on the platform that you were limited on the PS4. Every generation has a limitation. The PS5 is going to limit the PS6. The PS6 will be able to do things the PS5 can't do. The PS7 is going to do things the PS6 could do. I don't want the previous hardware to impact the next generation. I don't want console gaming, and this is what it feels like. I don't want console gaming to be like PC gaming, where now these consoles are pretty much just upgraded GPUs. But they're not making the games for your new line of GPU. It's just pretty much better version of the games that you know what I mean. You know what I mean? I don't want console gaming to be that, and that's what it feels like it's heading towards. Where now your console is nothing more than, you know, the way the PC gamer swaps out a GPU or swaps out a CPU, and you simply get better performance and just better visuals. But you're not getting games designed around that hardware to see what type of gameplay they could take advantage, or just completely redesigned. I remember. Here's a question. You remember the first Mark Cerny presentation of the PS5? Where he says, this is how maps been made. He showed this map of a game. This is how maps have been designed since like Jack 2, and it hasn't changed because they used to do, you know, the squeeze through the door for loading and all this stuff. And he goes, now with the SSD, you don't have to deal with that no more. Have you noticed they still make games with the squeezing loading from third party? They haven't gone away from that. You know, what was it? What game I was playing recently? Oh man, what game I was playing recently? It was on my backlog. I forgot. But it was an up-to-date game, and they had squeezing loading. Oh, the horror game, Callisto Protocol.
Okay.
Callisto Protocol. They're squeezing loading in that game. I'm playing it, crazy. And I beat it, and I'm like, and a lot too. Like a lot.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God. Like, and then you go to another area, and now all of a sudden he's like crawling. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, we barely, like, the areas aren't even that big. Like, you telling me you couldn't stream this? Like, just open the door and walk through it? Like, we got to do this. I'm like, so we still haven't went away from that, and it's because there's a Callisto Protocol on the PS4.
Yep.
So, yes, the PS5 is the better version of a PS4 game. But if that game wasn't made for PS4, we wouldn't be having those, loading, squeezing streams. You see? And that's what I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about, right? So with that, I think we both agree, like, exclusives matter, generational hardware matter, stuff like that. So with that, Helldivers, and you see my tweets, right? And I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be upfront, right? I was already like, I really don't like the PC strategy. I understand it. People confuse me not liking with me not understanding. I understand, but that doesn't mean I have to like it. And I think that's what some people don't understand, right? I understand what Sony's doing. I understand the why. I still hate it because it introduces potential, right? It's always a potential of how far you could take it and stuff like that, right? So remember, it started out with one game, Horizon Zero Dawn, and people were telling me I was 3 years old, you ain't got to worry about it. I'm like, but now the potential's there to put games on PC and put faster and might even strategize something around PC. They're like, oh, no. Next thing you know, games are 2 years, 15 months. And then they'd be like, oh, we're doing live service and it's day one on PC. Oh, we're doing, Chinese, these games, but we're going to put on PC because you have an audience in China. I'm like, okay, so we went from 1 3-year-old game to now day one games across various things. I'm like, all right. Then they did Lego Horizon on Nintendo. I'm like, why is Nintendo even in the conversation? Like, why even worry about them?
Yeah.
And now Helldivers on Xbox, right? And I know people are saying a lot of reasons about Helldive, but the potential, and this is what I'm trying to tell the community. You got to understand the potential, of sales and profit. So if Helldivers makes a lot of money, what's stopping? And this is my question to you. And I have not got a good reason. Maybe you could provide one. With Helldivers, right? Helldivers. And I know it's a live service game, but it is still a PlayStation property. It is still something they own and they will make money off of. They put it on Xbox. They start making money. What is stopping them from having a conversation and consideration of saying, you know what? Let's see how Horizon Zero Dawn, an 8-year-old game, does on Xbox. What's stopping them from making that decision? And nobody have given me what I feel is a good reason at all. Some reasons don't even make sense. Like, we're not even talking about you know how some people go away from the topic? I'm like, that's not even the topic anymore. I just simply want to know what is stopping Sony, Totoki, and Sony, whoever, decision makers from saying, you know what? Port Horizon on Xbox. Like, what is it that's going to make them say, nah, we can't? What is it that's going to, what reason is there that would have Sony be like, oh, no, that's too far? I just want to know what that reason is. That they decide, oh yeah, that's going too far now. Now you're talking crazy. Instead of them saying, you know what, try it.
Yep, those are great questions because we have to be honest. Nobody knows right now. We're not at Sony HQ, right? We don't know. So it is concerning as a PlayStation gamer, right? Because we've had the best ecosystem, in my opinion, since forever. Right? You may love Halo and Forza and all that better. That's fine. But as an ecosystem, PlayStation's had it where the games are at, especially the first-party IPs, in my opinion. But to each their own. But yeah, I mean, nothing's off the table. There's a couple directions that could go, right? Where you're right. I mean, it's been 8 years. This game's 8 years old. I mean, that's how Sea of Thieves started over. Even though it's a games as a service, that's how it started over, going over to PlayStation, right? Test the waters. PCs, grounded, all that stuff. They've been out for quite some time. Could it happen? I would say it could happen. I would say the thing that's the holdup here, right? I think is the big question mark is the next console for Xbox, this rumored hybrid, right? If this doesn't do enough, if it's too little, too late, kind of thing, I think that's what's going to save Sony first-party games going over to an Xbox dedicated console. If they can't get this thing out and make it sell units, they're just going to do the PC ports. I don't see them putting those games on Xbox continuously as time goes on. But if Helldivers 2 does actually sell well, if it does chart, if it does all these things, that is going to make them turn ahead. They're going to raise an eyebrow. They're going to be thinking.
And that, and you know, and that's what I'm trying to say. Because success, like if they put Helldivers, and let's say the Xbox guys eat it up, right? Yeah. Because I'm gonna be honest. In my opinion, this is our opinion, but PlayStation first party games better than Xbox first party games. It absolutely is. So. Like even now, so the games they released this year, like some of them are Bethesda games, so they would have came out on PlayStation anyway. But like for the most part, like I didn't really buy. Like even Forza, right? Forza sold 2 million, right? So 2 million in a month. That's good. But that's like Astrobot. That's like our Astrobot. Yeah. You know, like the top killers on PlayStation, they sell 2 million in 3 days. Yeah, now, Forza would have sold 2 million in 3 days. Then I would have been like, oh, okay. Wait a minute. Like, all right. Like, you know. But for us, the big guns of PlayStation, the God of War, the Spider-Man, Ghost of Tsushima, they do 2-3 million like the first couple of days. Right? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like the Astrobots. The Ratchet and Clank, that's like 2 million after 3 months. For that takes a while. Yeah. But the actual, Forza was their big gun. So, and this is why I always said Microsoft big guns during the 360. Sure, I said those were the big guns. But ever since the Xbox One, I always said Microsoft doesn't have big guns compared to PlayStation. You don't have these games that sell 2, 3, 4 million within the first 3, 4, 5 days. They don't. Oh yeah. They're just not that interesting to that level. You know, God of War, wow, like The Last of Us 2, what was it, like 4 million or something in 3 days? Yep. Like, they didn't have that game after the 360. They didn't have those IPs. So I'm like, so now to me, when they show, Forza 2 million after a month, I'm like, that's proof. Because, GT7, that thing did like 2 million the first week. So it just shows PlayStation first party IP is just a pillar of excellence compared to what we have from Xbox, right? I know now they're going to say, but we got Call of Duty. I'm like, stop it. You bought it. Right? You bought the game. Like, you bought success. It's like Minecraft. Minecraft. Microsoft bought the game when it sold 50 million already. Like, you bought instant success, right? So you didn't develop it or at least nurtured it, right? But what I was going to say, okay, so like Helldivers, right? If Helldiver goes on and they're like, wow, this is awesome. And there's a lot of people, and Sony's like, okay, might be 30 million sold users, but, like 3-4 million sales off of them? What if we could get 2-3 million sales off of Horizon? 2-3 million more sales off of Spider-Man because it's just a port now. So porting costs is a lot cheaper.
Much so.
So they could make hand over fist in money with the right games. It may not be everything, but certain right games, like maybe not the full slate, but like the biggest guns. Horizon. Yeah. I would say at least Horizon, Spider-Man, God of War, minimum. I think those three, they will eat it up. The Xbox gamers will. Those games will sell more than their own games that they like. They will eat that game up. They will eat it up at $70. Right. The full $70. They will eat, and they don't care how old it is.
Correct, man. Right? If it fits in their line, and Spider-Man's another big gun. They talked shit about it the whole time it was being released on PlayStation. I guarantee you, if that was available, they'd eat that up. Spider-Man is the #1 selling IP for Marvel. Period. The end.
Oh yes.
I mean, it's going to sell. So it's just, and obviously they're clamoring for that game right now as well.
You start seeing the port begging. You start seeing the port begging. You know, it's just like I don't blame them though, right? You know, but to be honest, I don't blame them because Sony cracked the seal, and that's another thing, right? When Sony makes these moves, gamers, whether you're in a console war or you're just a gamer that's just interested in just what happened in gaming, sometimes a move could misrepresent your intentions. Some people could get confused. Like Helldivers on Xbox, people could just be like, all right, so is Sony going to start making games for Xbox? Like, because some people may not deep dive. I know some people try to deep dive with the whole live service, but sometimes some people ain't that deep. They just see it as a PlayStation game on Xbox, and that's it. That's all they see it as. Yeah. They're like, wait a minute, PlayStation putting games on Xbox? Is that the norm now? Is that going to be the new normal? Like, some people are confused. Like, what message is Sony sending? With their platform versus the competing platform. And that just, of course, the fanboys go gaming. Oh, they're in on it, right? They're gonna,
they're in on it.
Yeah. So how about you? How about that? Sony's messaging on their platform. Do you think they're muddling their message little by little, like making it more difficult to really say get a PlayStation as compared to like the previous gens? You think it's a little bit more confusing on what they're trying to do?
Yeah. I mean, I certainly a little bit. I don't want to be extra cautious, right? But, and I know they've come at you. They come at me the same way, right? And when I say they, I mean some of the folks out there, the hardcores, right? Yeah. They're like, it shouldn't be happening at all, and I agree. I mean, it's a first-party game, but for now, and I know they said this to you as well, it's a games as a service game. And they're right. They're right to an extent because it is a games as a service game. And I think this is the type of game that is going to flourish in the Xbox community because it's that dude bro game, right? Like COD and Battlefield and all that stuff in its own way. And so I say, yes, we can start maybe being a little more concerned if we get a single player first party game that heads over there. I don't even care if it is Ratchet and Clank. If for some reason something like that hopped over there, that's going to really make you raise an eyebrow and be like, guys, look, let's not screw around. Let's not beat around the bush. That means more is coming. As of right now, there's the potential for more coming for sure. But does that mean everything or even pick and choose? I think for now, the single player games are safe for now.
But I think, and I can agree what you're saying. Like, even if it's, let's say, like a Ratchet and Clank, but I think at that point, we can all agree, it's done. Like,
for sure.
There's no more assuming now. Now we're really in the end. You know what I'm saying? Now we're in the end game.
We're in the end game now.
Okay. So with that, I want to move on. How are you? What's your opinion on how Sony executed their live service strategy now that we're 5 years into it? What's your opinion on that so far?
Complete and utter trash. I like it. Complete and utter trash.
So far, because everybody's pissed off. You got to give Sony a chance. I'm like, bro, how many years you think I got on this planet? Like, I can only take fine. So far. So far, I guess. We'll give them another 10 years.
Give them another 10 years, see what happens. shit. Well, here's the thing too. Unpopular opinion on me, and I'm sure you hate this as well. I swear I lose a couple subs here and there every time I even mention Concord, but I I liked the gameplay of that fucking game. Like it's a
Okay.
team
Oh,
shooter.
you enjoyed it playing it.
I
Yeah.
enjoyed the game. The character designs were garbage. Aside from like 2 or 3, they were garbage. I agree. A lot of that was done wrong. I think the price point was fair. I think the gameplay was hella smooth. I mean, it reminded me of, Destiny in its heyday as far as the smooth gameplay and everything like that. Is how you felt. But so it's really, but the narrative was already created for that, right? I mean, before the game even hit beta, then it hit beta, the character designs were out there, and that's what they are harping on. Not one person said, without lying, not one person said this game isn't fun. The mechanics, the gunplay, all that stuff is not fun. Not one person came through and said that that wasn't what was the problem. And I agree, the maps were lackluster, is too rusty, too barren, like too red, and the character designs were garbage. And ultimately, the narrative destroyed that. I think that could have had potential if they took it offline, said, "You're right, my bad. Let's or our bad, however you want to state that," and say, "We're going to come back with some better character designs." They wouldn't have to change the gameplay at all. If they had better character designs, I think we would be seeing a different story. Um, but just one of the many misses with the games as a service, right? Obviously, with Last of Us Factions, uh, 2 being canceled, the fumble that is Marathon right now. I mean, the list goes on and on. They just have not done anything right except for Helldivers 2 in some time. So
Yeah, so like with Concord, I knew that game was good. I remember when they finally introduced the gameplay review, and I think I had that state of play live, and I think I had Extreme on the show anyway. So showing it like within 30 seconds, I'm like, this game is dead. I'm like, this game is so like 30 seconds. I'm like, this is a wrap. Everybody's like, oh, Puertorock, you gotta give it. I'm like, bro, this is done. Like, this ain't making it. I mean, Jay Barry was mad. Like, not mad, like actually angry. He's like, Puertorock, shut up before I break your knees. I'm like, Barry, this is another live service that's done. I'm like, you might as well add that to the list with Avengers, add it to Gotham Knights, Suicide Squad, throw in Concord.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, whatever, you don't know, right? And I try to tell people, so I think for a live service, first impression is absolutely critical, more than a single player. At least a single player game, even with a bad first impression, when people play it, it'll survive. It could survive if it ends up being good. Some people be like, "Oh shit, it was a wrong impression." But for live service, like, and I was saying, when everybody, well, I ain't gonna say everybody, but when a lot of people instantly saw Overwatch. That's when I know. I'm like, it's done. I'm like, it's done. Everybody's like, the thing with live service, and I don't think people fundamentally understand this with live service versus single player. Single player games don't compete with games from like 10 years ago. Like, let's say the rumor of Venom, right? The new Venom comes out. It's not competing even with Spider-Man 2, let alone Arkham Knight. Those games are gone. It's done. In fact, we're looking for a new comic game to replace it, right?
Yes.
But when you release a new live service game, you're competing with Fortnite. Yeah. You're competing with Apex. You're competing with Call of Duty. You're competing with Rainbow Six. You're competing with a lot of old games that is still relevant today.
Yeah.
As it was when it first came out, right? Wolverine's not going to compete with any previous Marvel or DC comic game. It's going to be fresh, and it's going to be alone. And that's the advantage of single-player games, because single-player games end. So you need a new one to take its place. But live service game, I personally think Sony kind of missed the boat, which was last gen. Last gen was the time to introduce live service game, create your hitter, and now you're just enjoying. Look at Epic. Epic's not trying to make a new live service game. They got their hit, Fortnite, and now they just run with it forever. And I think that's the challenge of live service game. You're competing with games, and if you look at like the most played live service game, most of them are from last gen. Almost all of them. They just stayed. The Maddens, FIFA, I mean not FIFA anymore, but Football Club, NBA 2K, Apex was last gen, Fortnite was last gen, Rainbow Six, right? I think the new, probably the one that's from this gen is Marvel Rivals, right? And some
Yeah.
people use that as a counter. Oh, but Marvel Rivals. I'm like, okay, but you do realize Marvel Rivals is like the collection of the most famous superheroes in gaming.
Yes.
So, okay,
Yes.
fine. If Concord had the complete collection of the most well-known superheroes in
Yeah.
pop culture, it probably would have survived.
Yeah.
If they replace
Exactly.
Concord with every DC character known to
Right.
man,
Right.
okay, maybe Concord would have had a chance. DC Concord
Yep.
universe. I don't know, and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Um, how do you feel with Sony still saying, "Hey, yeah, we're still doing this," and let's assume that the reason why they're still doing this is because any of those games can be put on Xbox and Nintendo.
Hmm.
And that's the reason why they
Yeah.
feel they could still be successful because now they have
Yes.
more platforms in mind to put gas games. How do you feel about that?
Yes. I feel so. Here's the thing, and this isn't always a popular opinion, and I know you don't like probably a lot of games as service games either, but I feel they're gonna keep going until they hit that one, because all you need is one successful games as a service game. And I don't mean even Helldivers 2, because the microtransactions in that are not needed. It's very
It's
minuscule
not
to me where you're
aggressive.
getting
It's
a
not
new color
aggressive.
cape.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
it's
not
not
aggressive.
aggressive. Yeah, yeah.
So if they find something and one hits that home run, right? And they're like, great, and then here's all these aggressive microtransactions, and here's this and that, and here's your season passes and all that stuff. All they need is one to continually funnel and fund development of multiple studios and games. They can channel that in there. But again, as far as a consumer, as far as a PlayStation fan, we don't internally care as much, because we're not looking at that side of things. We're doing what you're saying here, P Rock. Here is, yeah, a games as a service game is clearly going to be a multi-platform game. As a matter of fact, if it can run on the Switch too, it's going to run on the Switch too as well. But that's what they're going for. They're not going to stop until they find that golden goose. Whether that be the death of them in the long run, we'll have to wait and see.
That's
But
yeah, good. I like that. At least you know what, people call me crazy for bringing that up. Like, at what
yep,
point do they realize we have to stop, or we're like
yeah,
in trouble, right? How much money investment are you going to put in before you realize we spending billions and we're not getting anything, right? Now,
yeah,
do you really believe, let's say they come up with another live service game and it's like a banger, close to Fortnite,
mhm,
let's say to that level. It's like, it's a hit, but it's on Xbox, it's on Nintendo, it's on PlayStation, it's on PC. Let's say it's on all platforms, right? Let's say they finally got that one hit, but it's on all platforms. The profits and revenues they get from that game, do you really believe they're going to use some of that for new game development? Or do you think, nah, this is our profit, the games and development, they have to, like, let's say Sucker Punch. No, you guys got to survive on your own. Santa Monica, you're on your own. Naughty Dog, you're on your own. Housemark, you're on your own. You're not getting any of this live service money. This is profit, and we enjoying it
yeah,
and we loving it. I mean, obviously, the money will reinvest in itself for added maps, and obviously it's going to take care of itself, but the
yeah,
profit it generates is not actually going to other new games. It's like, we keeping this stash, you guys got to figure out to make profit and reinvest in
mhm,
yourselves. Do you think so? Do you really think these live service games, they're going to actually use some of it to help fund other projects? I could maybe understand acquisitions. I could see that. Obviously,
mhm,
acquisitions. I could see that. But with the
mhm.
current studios that we have, do you think successful live service games will help support the current studios we have, or do you think Sony's like, you live and die on your own success? If you can't succeed, we'll just shut you
Sure,
down. What type of
sure.
Sony you think we have right now?
Well, I think we have a corporation, and like
Yeah.
I say all the time, no corporation, no business is a consumer's true friend. They want to entice you enough for you to stick around, right? Spend money in that ecosystem. But that being said, if we're talking hypothetically, they found
Yeah.
the next Fortnite, so to speak, right? These guys at Epic, right? They have so much money due to Fortnite alone, they don't even know what to do with it all. They're filling their yachts and whatever else they want with all those guys there.
Yeah.
And they're like, we can just do whatever. Like, we're just throwing whatever. That's why they're able to license out the games and the rhythm, festival mode in Fortnite. They're able to get licensed Batmobile. Money is not a thing. It's not a thing to them. So if they were, I don't think they would have a choice in that situation where they would have to just say, "Yeah, let's spend it. We're doing that. We'll do it in house. We'll do that. We're still lining our pockets. We're still doing that. That's the prime number one goal for them. That's what they're going to do. But if they fall anywhere short in the middle ground and not get to that Fortnite level, you're absolutely right. You hit the nail on the head. Are they truly going to use any of that potential profit towards any other services or any other IPs development? Odds are they're going to line their pockets first, and whatever's left over, maybe.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. With back to live service strategy, if they continue and they go deeper into day one development with other platforms, let's say, I mean, I know Xbox is up in the air because I personally think the next Xbox is pretty much what we've seen with the ROG Ally. It's just, it's Dell making a PC and they slap an Xbox sticker on it in his Windows 11 system. That's what I think is the next console. It's just really a PC with Windows 11, right?
Yeah.
Let's say we'll use Nintendo Switch 2. I think that's a better example. Let's say Sony starts putting their games, the gas games, they want a Nintendo as well. So PC, PlayStation, Nintendo Switch 2. Do you really feel, how do you feel like, I'll say this, I can't even ask a question, but I'm just going to tell you how I feel about it. And then at that point, you respond with your opinion about it. I look at it as, that strategy is not really a PlayStation strategy for the PlayStation gamer then. That's just a company making a game, a third party. Like, you made a game for PC players, you made a game for Nintendo gamers. You just so happen to be the owner of a PlayStation console, but the game is just as much as a Nintendo gamer as it is as much as a PlayStation gamer. That makes sense?
I think so.
How do you look at Sony's live service strategy with games also being day one on other platforms? Do you still feel like this is for the PlayStation gamer? Like this is like we're the first thought in this project, or now it's just they're looking at other gamers just as much as, man, how can I put it? I'm gonna put it to you this way. So Extreme made a good point. He says when you include other people into your business, you will now have to consider other people. And his perfect analogy was the coffee house. So imagine when you and I, we start out as a coffee house, right? We're making, you know what I'm saying? Vault and Rocks coffee, right? We got our face and, the corny face. Like, everybody look at it. Yeah. Best coffee out there. Everybody love it, right? And let's say, wherever we live at. We live, let's say, in Colorado, right? And we're in Colorado and we're thinking, yo, you know what? Weed is legal. And we're thinking, hey, we got a great idea. Let's expand our shop and include a dispensary for marijuana. So you get coffee and weed, the ultimate chill environment. You sit back, have a little dub, sip a little coffee in a little internet cafe. We love it. So we expand our little coffee shop. Now we have a little weed dispensary. Now all of a sudden, like 70% of our money comes from weed. We now became a weed shop. We're no longer a coffee shop. Oh, yeah. The weed heads are our customer. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It changed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The economy changed because now we have a new group, and this new group is now all in, and we're like, wait a minute, we're no longer a coffee shop. We're a weed shop with coffee. Well, I started out as a coffee shop with now a dispensary. Now we're a full-fledged dispensary, but we also sell coffee, right? So with that said, with live service games now including PC, and using Helldivers example, Helldivers is selling better on PC. That game, PC gamers are in on that game. They are in on that game. To this day, it's a top 5 selling game. They just keep buying it and keep playing it. They play that more than Rivals. So PC gamers absolutely love that game. So you can say this is a really PC game that PlayStation just has access to. So with this strategy now maybe it might make sense what I'm trying to ask you. With this strategy, is this really a PlayStation strategy? When you have so many other people that could potentially be involved, and Switch 2 is going to sell a lot. So they're easily going to have, unlike Xbox, they get the 100 million gamers. Yeah. They're not Xbox. Sure. They sell 100 million consoles. They do it very good. They do it very well. So you got 100 million consoles on Nintendo. You got PC with their 200 million on Steam. And so could gas not even really be a PlayStation thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Am I making sense now?
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, and I was definitely following you. It's not. I mean, if I'm gonna be black and white about it, it's not for PlayStation gamers. It's for gamers in general, right? Games as a service is for gamers. What are the benefits as a PlayStation owner, right? That's where we're trying to get at here. And the benefit is, like I said, there is no benefit. Maybe hypothetically that they're done lining their pockets and that can go into development and give us a treat down the road. That's all it's there for, right? There's nothing more than that. If you have that PlayStation logo, it's advertisement for sure. Like, well, it is a PlayStation game. What else do they got over here? Well, maybe I'll invest. If you don't have a PlayStation at that point, maybe I'll buy a PlayStation because of that game and these other games I forgot they had. Maybe the casual gamers may not know the entire catalog of PlayStation. That's just how it is. But yeah, no, to answer it shortly, it's definitely not for PlayStation gamers in the long
It's at
run.
least
It's
a gray
for
area, right? It's at least
yeah,
a gray area. Like
yeah,
we entered a gray. Like life was so simple. The
yeah.
previous gens, hey, there was no gray area in this. It's like, hey, you want to play Metal Gear, you want to play Guns of the Patriot, you got to get a
Mhm,
PS3, dog. I don't know what to tell you.
mhm.
Simple. It was real simple, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And he used the capabilities of the PS3. Phenomenal game. It wasn't jittery like a lot of third party games was making.
yeah.
It was phenomenal. It was a phenomenal piece of that gen, and we're
Oh
like,
yeah,
wow, like
yeah.
Kojima really did it with the PS3 hardware.
Oh yeah. I remember Metal Gear Solid 4 is probably my favorite Metal Gear game out of all the series, right? It's just I remember because I broke my ankle at the time, shattered it. I was laid up, man. So I was like, "Oh, this is perfect." This game came out, and I can play the 2-hour epilogue, right? I
Oh,
can
you saw the silver lining in a dark cloud. Man, I chopped off my
exactly.
foot. Ooh, more time for Metal
Yeah,
Gear.
yeah, yeah. It's like here we go, man. So a beautiful game. The fact that it was able to run on the PS3 so well, like you said, man, just amazing. I didn't even care. It had loading screens of them smoking the cigarette, and it took forever to get to the next
Until you
part.
take breaks. Until you take some
Yeah,
break while we load
take
this
some
up for you.
breaks. Yeah,
Kojima's
it's like,
brilliant.
dang, I ain't taking break. I'm
Only he could
invested,
get
man.
away with that.
I
He
got
could get
nowhere to
away
go.
with that.
Oh
He could
yeah.
get away with it. Only he
Oh,
got away with that. But the game was
yeah.
brilliant. Yo,
It was.
I even say Snake Eater on the PS2.
Oh
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah,
wow. And that's the brilliance of focusing on that one hardware and just taking it to its max. You'll be surprised, like, and especially like the games towards the end of the gen compared to how it started, you see that improvement over time without needing to buy new hardware. The developers just keep optimizing, getting better and stuff.
yeah,
But it's primarily the exclusives. The multiplats, they
yeah.
generally don't progress that deep, but it's because it's a multiplat. The publisher,
Yep.
developer, it's not trying to focus on that one device. And that's why I say that's another
Yeah.
advantage of exclusives. Every year, every knowledge, every improvement from game to game, the developer could take lessons learned and just like,
Yeah.
ooh, I could have done this. Next time I make a game for this console, I'm gonna implement these new stuff. And you just see the
Absolutely.
improvement. I mean, look at The Last of Us 2 on the PS4. Some people were saying when they revealed the game that it's running on a PS5 dev kit. They're like, oh nah, they're showing us the PS5 version. This ain't PS4 Pro.
Yeah.
Oh no, it was. It
Yeah.
absolutely was. Fantastic looking
Yep.
game. For like Jaguar Core mobile hardware, you're like,
Oh
oh,
yeah.
you know. So let me ask you this. So for this gen, how long do you think this gen is going to last before they introduce the PlayStation? What do you think is the right time?
Right call, right
Given
answer.
just yeah, what do you think is the actual should be the new normal for a
Mhm.
generation?
Yeah. So this one, I definitely see it lasting a bit longer due to COVID. Right. That was quite the hiccup for everybody involved. I mean, we're just now getting more PlayStation players this generation, now hopping over from the PS4. So if we're gonna get half of them, and we still got some people trailing off on the PS4, I mean we're not getting the PS6. I think in a couple years. I think we're looking at the earliest 2027, and quite possibly 2028 is when we would see the PS6, whatever that would look like. Um, the again, I don't like to speculate or comment on rumors, but I have a lot of things in my ear stating, and again, grain of salt, but a lot of things in my ear stating that it's going to also have this handheld attachment device with it as well. I don't know if that's true, but regardless, the next generation launch will be around 27, 28 for sure, I think.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking of 28 least.
Mhm.
I mentioned the industry has a math problem. There's a math that's not mathing. And what I mean by
Yeah.
that is you got 7 year gens. Like if we stick to the normal gen cycle, what's current, which is 7 year gens, you got 7 year generational consoles, but it takes 5 to 6 years to make one game. Math ain't mathing. Like that's not a.
Yeah.
Technically, you could have a gen where a developer only makes one game for the entire
Yeah.
gen, and then that's it. And I'm like, math ain't mathing. Like something's gotta
No.
give. Like a developer has to. Think about it. You're a developer. You get one game off, and now you're told a new generation is starting. There's a reason why cross gen is a thing now, because you can't keep up and abandon.
Yeah.
You just learned. Like for now, you just learned the PS5. You got your game off, right? Take for example, Sucker Punch, right? We're about to get Ghost of Yotai. It looks phenomenal,
Yeah.
right? All right. I guess people are calling it Ghost of Wotai, whatever. It's like this.
Whatever.
Just
Yeah.
it's like, oh my god, this is like that game. We'll talk about that because that's the worst part of gaming. I
Yeah.
think they talk about
Ugh.
console was bad. Like no, this anti woke shit is the worst thing. Anyway, but Sucker Punch
Truly.
released their game, right? And there was an article they actually talked about that they would love to do another Infamous, but they currently can't because they have to finish Yotai, right? Because
Yep.
they're not big
Yep.
enough to. So once they're finishing Yotai in the next couple of months, they'll be able to start a new project. But a new project is about 5 years. So that means we won't see a Sucker Punch game till 2030, which will
Yeah.
be PlayStation. That guaranteed by that point we'll have
Yeah.
a PlayStation
By that
6
point.
and the game might be cross gen. Because they're not going to ban
Yep.
you. If we thought PS4 lasted a while, stand by. Because this is good hardware. PS5 is great hardware. So it's
Oh yeah.
gonna
Yeah.
it's gonna stick around for a while deep
Yep.
into the cross gen. Given how I'm surprised PS4 lasted this long, so I can't even imagine PS5 how long it's gonna last. But we get one actual Sucker Punch game this entire gen, and I think that's a
Yeah.
problem. I think that's a
It is.
problem. Especially
Yep.
for those of us that really enjoy Sony's first party, we think they'll probably make the better games in the industry. One game throughout the whole generation. They did, so I can understand if this gen gets extended to 28, But what
Yeah.
would also have liked is Sony also put investments into the growth of their already studios that makes the hitters, like Sucker Punch. Sucker Punch deserves
Yeah.
expansion. Between Infamous 1 and 2, First Light, um, Infamous Second Son, Ghost of
Yep.
Tsushima, and now Ghost of Yotai, they deserve expansion. They deserve to be like, you know what? We're gonna make you a bigger studio because you guys are creating great content. And right now you're limited to just one project at a time. Instead of
Oh yeah.
like Naughty Dog. They got multiple teams so they can orchestrate multiple projects. And then once those things are ready, releasing, boom, 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 boom. So what do you think about that? Do you think Sony should have at least put some of the studios that developed and they created hitters like Sucker Punch? Do you
Mhm.
think they should have also strategized like, hey, this gen is going to be longer to make games, so you guys need to tackle on more projects? What do you think? Or do you think like it should just stay the way it is?
Yeah. No. Definitely, they need to expand. I mean, that's a weakness there, and they've got to expand, man. I mean, look, you're. I assume you're a big Resistance fan. The poster
Yes.
behind you, right?
I
I'm a
don't know.
huge
Yeah.
Resistance fan. They're sitting on, and I understand, even if they remastered them, it's not going to bring in a ton of money, but still get that IP back, get the mouse talking. How much money does it truly take to at least just kind of port remaster, just kind of quality of life improvement stuff, get some stuff out there? But yeah, they need to expand because while someone's working on the main dev core group is working on the next Ghost game or the next Infamous if it's after that or whatever the case ends up being, why not expand so we can have a smaller group that can work on remasters and ports? And to me, that seems
Not
like
bad.
easier money, right? I mean, you don't have to lean into games and service as much. You can. They sit on so many IPs. We're not seeing any more Jack and Daxter. We're not seeing any other Sly Coopers. We're not seeing anything from all these Sony IPs. Um, it's just a tragedy at this point, and it's just insanity to me because, a lot of us have stayed with PlayStation. A lot of us have grown up with PlayStation, and for those IPs to just lay dormant is just absolutely absurd. But yeah, they should definitely expand, and we should have teams reviving these IPs and so on and so forth.
And I think, and I tell people, I think some IPs got held back by the PS3 simply because, not so much the hardware, because Sony first party did phenomenal with the hardware, right? I think the hardware was more of a third party problem, and I'm not saying it's their fault. Sony created that problem for them, but the first party figured out the PS3 hardware, so they did a phenomenal job. But I think because of just the whole entire gen, the initial backlash, Xbox 360 was a very popular platform, so some people just didn't play on PlayStation 3 because the 360 was awesome. Fantastic games, fantastic online, So some games got held back simply because the PS3 wasn't put in the best position to get people to be like, "Oh, I got to get a PS3 or whatever." So
Yeah.
some games, I think, if they were to do a full remake or whatever, and say, you know what, let's put it on the PS5 as a remake and see how it goes, I think it might be even more successful simply because the PS5 is like the top console, right?
Hmm.
So like a
Yeah. Yeah.
Resistance might even be
Yeah.
more popular now than it was on the PS3 simply because
Sure.
one, the online's better. That's a quality improvement,
Yeah.
period.
That's.
PS5's online is infinitely better than the PS3's online. Hell,
Oh
it was
Lord.
shut
Yeah.
down for like a month, if you remember.
Yeah.
You know?
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I remember.
So the quality of life of the controller, the PS3 controller was not a very good shooter-friendly controller. It
No.
was not
No.
at all. It wasn't. It just
No.
wasn't. It was a bad
I
controller
mean,
for shooters.
it
We
was
just
well,
we
especially the
dealt with
launch
it.
one, right? We didn't even have
We
the
didn't rumble.
dual
We didn't
stock
have
in there.
rumble.
Like,
Yeah.
fuck. Yeah.
Yeah. So the quality of life behind the
Terrible.
controller, the DualSense to me, best controller ever. For
Ever.
a console, for a packed in controller,
Hmm.
the best. Period. A
Oh yeah.
packed in default controller, DualSense is the goal right now.
Yeah.
So you got that quality of control with the DualSense. Much better online, much better communication integrity, right? Because the communication on the PS3, they didn't have party chat, Discord, all those things wasn't there. So there's a lot of quality of life features that wasn't there, right? The performance, right, much better now because now you'll get smooth 60 FPS on the single player, and you can get 60 FPS in multiplayer, maybe even 120 FPS in the multiplayer. So much better multiplayer, better graphics, it's just everything. The quality of life of the game would just improve all around on a console that's much more popular as compared
Yep.
to the PS3. So you're talking games like for example, Heavenly Sword, that will be 60 frames
Oh yeah.
default when it was 30 on the PlayStation, but
Yeah.
and then with the DualSense, like there's so many games that could just take advantage of what the PS5 can actually bring to the table, and it could just
Yeah.
make it feel like a whole new game, to be honest. Like a remake
Truly.
of, let's say, Heavenly Sword, it could feel
Mhm.
like a whole new game. Like this is a whole new game now. This is not even a remake. It's just a whole new game now. 60 FPS, just better control, just everything, right? Resistance could be part of that. They want to do live service, Warhawk, technically speaking,
Oh gosh.
a
Yeah.
game like that.
Yeah.
Another game I think that would be great for live service is Mag, because that game, technically
Oh
speaking,
yeah.
is like when you look back at Mag, that game technically was designed for live service because you had three different factions
Yeah.
with three different cultures. So that's called skins. You have the punk rock
Yeah.
skins, you got the corporate skins, and you got the traditional soldier skins. New
Yeah.
equipment with each its own unique, identity and all that stuff. That's MTX out the yin yang between the three different factions. And then live service, so constant battles between them 24/7. That game could be ridiculous in terms of live service strategy and is unique because even now there's not a game like that. And that's a thing,
Yeah.
that's a thing. Sony needs to come out with more unique live service. Don't try
Yes.
to carbon copy something.
Yep.
Like I like the fact that I got into a fighter. Token Souls, perfect.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I know some
Oh,
people say it's a live service, but you're right, but it's also a traditional fighter. So it's not
Sure.
that far off. You like fighters, they own Evo. But the fact that they did something that I thought Capcom was going to do that.
Yeah.
I didn't think they
Oh,
would do
Lord.
that. That took me
Yeah.
by surprise. I'm like, wait a minute. Is Sony doing this Marvel fighter and not Capcom? That is huge.
Yep.
Fantastic.
It was great surprise, But one other one which also dumbfounds me. You brought up Mag, which is a great point. I mean, that's fantastic. I mean, can you imagine 64 players, different factions, all that? That's great.
They probably could do more now. I was
Exactly.
surprised. I was
120
surprised
maybe?
that I was surprised the PS3 was doing that. I'm like, man,
I
they
know
really.
it was ahead of its time. Period.
It
Ahead
was.
of
It
its
was
time.
absolutely ahead of its time.
It's just brilliant idea, somewhat executed well, but it's just ahead of its time, right? It's just one of those things. But why? The one thing I have to bring up is why are we still sitting on SOCOM? Why are we not having somebody take on SOCOM and bring this
Gorilla
to the forefront?
That should be in Gorilla's hands.
Yeah,
that should be absolutely in Gorilla's hands. They should have been made that decision, and maybe they did. We just don't know it yet, right? Because that could be a thing too. But if they're not, then that's the absolute dumbest move. Like, again, I don't want to take a shot at Concord, but if they greenlit Concord, I can't see how somebody is not greenlighting SOCOM. It's like it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You know,
right. It's true. It's true.
You know, it's already a PlayStation staple. People want it back. I think a lot of people want that. I think if there's any multiplayer game people want back, it's SOCOM. People want that game back.
They do.
Right? Just bring it back. Just bring it back.
Like what? Like what's taking so long? My lord!
You want a live service game, so do the one that people are literally giving you the answer. Sony, SOCOM. They're helping you. They're helping you with the idea. Yeah. They're like, nah, we want to make another purple-looking Fortnite game. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like,
no.
Come on.
No. It's just like, man, how much money do you guys want to lose before you get the obvious answers right when we're talking about that, right? Like, what are we doing? Like I said, Marathon, we can go back to Marathon. From the get-go, I played the beta, didn't like it. I don't like the color aesthetics. I don't like anything about it. It feels, to me, and if anybody loves it and loves the beta, I'm sorry, but to me it felt soulless. It just, come on. But
and the worst part is, so I'll ask you this. Let me read up some super chats, right, to get the community in there. I want to start it off with, let's see, okay. Here we go. We got, let's see, Sove. Became a new member. Thank you so much, Sove. Appreciate it. Welcome to the family. Glassdoor Gamer with the super chat. Without Xbox, PlayStation is going to get the best third-party ports. I don't think PC will ever hurt the console. There's no one hardware profile on PC. I'll say this though: if there is no Xbox and PlayStation, let's say in the console is the console where the third party goes, and there's really no best third party port because we're the only ones getting the third party port, right? If Nintendo's not getting it, and Xbox moved on to PC, so technically PlayStation is the only console port. So we don't know if it's the best or not because there's nothing to compare it to. In fact, if anything, it's just going to be PlayStation and PC comparisons, and they always use a high end PC every time. All the time. The $3,000 build. Like I want to see the $700 build that everybody claims is better than the Pro. Show me that.
Please.
I want to see these $700 builds. Don't show.
So here's the thing, too. A lot of people like to be like, well, you don't know. No, I also game. When I say I gamed on every console, I also mained PC multiple times throughout my gaming career, hobby. I can tell. Right now, like, who are they lying to? Because we all know no $700 PC is going to compete with the current gen console. It's just not. Maybe Switch 2, but I mean,
that's a different. That's Switch 2. They did that to themselves. But that's Nintendo, though. But that's Nintendo. They, Nintendo doesn't promise powerful hardware. They're done with that. It's really the fanboys that, it's on par with PS5. I'm like, stop. Nintendo's not claiming that. Nintendo doesn't even talk power at all. Like, in fact, it was during our generation Nintendo used to talk power. Remember they used to say that? Now you're playing with power. That was a thing.
Power. Yeah.
Now they're like, mm-mm.
And now you're not. Now you're just there for their.
Just have fun.
Shit. Yeah, just have fun. Play our great first-party games.
Have fun.
Have fun. Don't play Cyberpunk, but play our first-party games. All right.
Absolutely. Anonymous Boss gifted 5 memberships. So in the chat, if you received a membership, please give Anonymous Boss a shout out. You know, spam my blue face. That's a good way. That's how we say thank you in this community. Let me show you guys. So this means thank you. Okay, I just, if you didn't know, now you know. That's what that smiley's for. I posted in the chat. That means thank you. That's our way of saying thank you. Glassdoor Gamer. I do see PlayStation pulling back for PC if Microsoft makes a push on PC, especially with all this AI capturing asset stuff. They could steal it. I don't know. Like, I think we'll get into it in a few. We'll talk a little bit about Microsoft, but Microsoft, I'll be honest, man, they changed rather quickly, faster than even I anticipated. And Anonymous Boss sent 2 more gift memberships. So thank you again. You know, tell them thank you. Really appreciate it, Anonymous. Really appreciate it. You are the boss. Navensor with a super chat. What would y'all take, MSG remake or MSG 6 with Kojima? 6. I gotta go with the 6. I gotta go.
Yeah.
So he's asking, which would you would choose? Metal Gear Solid 4 remake or Metal Gear Solid 6 with Kojima?
Wow.
Done by Kojima.
Oh, if we have Kojima. Okay, if we have Kojima,
with Kojima.
If we have Kojima fully on board, and this may be an unpopular opinion here in a second, but I will definitely take a 6 as much as I love 4. It'd be great to get a remake of 4. 4 still holds up hella well. If you guys went back and played that right now, guys, it holds
you still
up
play your
well.
PS3?
I do. I still have a fatty.
How is that? How is that still at the fatty? How does it like? Because I would say this: I don't go back to old consoles, especially like when I'm already been playing on the new one for 2 years. So when I had the PS5, right? I bought the PS5, and this was like 2020 when it launched, right? The following year, just 1 year, I went home. I went back to New York. But you know the PS5 is bulky as shit. It's huge, right? So I say, you know what? I'm going to take my PS4. I'll just play some PS4 games. Man, I'm like, all right, this is the worst shit ever. I'm at home. It's slow. Because it's already been a year. It's slow.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm like, I can't. I could never play this PS4 again. So I can only imagine the PS3. Like, is it a chore, that PS3? Is it like, ooh, this is...
So here's the thing. I feel like the XMB system, it moves around faster, right? So the OS, the XMB system, that's quick. But you're right. The loading for stuff, I don't go back and play a bunch of the older stuff, right? All the time. It's once in a great while. If something hit me like Metal Gear 4, one of those PS3 onlys you can't play, you know, because they weren't able to backwards compatible the stuff. And, you know, but more so I stick with obviously current gen, but every once in a while. But yeah, it's a chore. It's not, I'm not going to go in there and fire up some online game, especially. But yeah, it is a chore. I mean, we all have those rose tinted glasses on too, right? For example, they finally released Twisted Metal 3 and 4, just via what I guess emulation or whatever on the PlayStation 5 and 4. And going back to work through Twisted Metal 3 right now, Lord have mercy, man. Oh,
it's pretty rough.
Lord. Yeah, like the wife and kids watching, they're like,
remaster this. Remaster this game. At least remaster this, because this is rough.
Yeah,
you know.
They're just like, it's hurting my eyes. We're offended watching you play this, and I'm like, I'm sorry. Back when this was the shit, it had Rob Zombie soundtrack. It was, you know,
you tell your kid, man, this is awesome. Let's play it, and your kid's like,
They're like, what? I ain't doing this, and I'm like, I don't blame
your kids are like,
I don't blame
Dad, I feel sorry for your childhood if this is what you considered. But at the time, it was the best of its time.
Oh yeah,
the graphics, the gameplay, it was smooth.
Everything, yeah. But
it's just true.
Nowadays, it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work without being remastered nowadays. It's been too long. So
yeah. All right. Liquid Data, thank you for the super chat. It's definitely going to be longer, especially with the PSSR update in 2026. I think that's also a huge key, right? I think that's also a huge factor.
That is huge.
How much updates? Because to me, I'll say this, the PS5 Pro, this is a proper mid-gen refresh. I don't know how you feel about the PS4 Pro. I didn't like it. I didn't think it was worth it. I didn't buy it. I didn't think, I just didn't feel it. I didn't see the point of it. The PS5 Pro, though, to me, this is proper mid-gen refresh. New technology, the pisser. I'm like, this is it. Now I get it. But now with this major update, potentially with FSR4 or whatever they do, and who knows, you could probably get another major update, FSR5.
Yeah.
Like how far they can take the PS5 Pro is also a factor in extending the gen, because you can say, hey, next gen, we're going to extend the gen out to 2030. But if you're a launch console guy and you're really tired, buy the PS5 Pro, because we added so much updates, so much technology, it's way ahead of its scale. So you don't really, you know, I think that's a factor. I think the PS5 Pro is a factor in extending the gen if it does amazing stuff.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's a great point. I'm glad they pointed that out as well. And that can certainly play a factor for sure in prolonging that. And yeah, I mean, just to kind of rewind a little bit and we'll get right back to it. But yeah, the PS4 Pro, I had buyer's remorse almost immediately.
You bought it?
I did buy it. I bought it because I'm all about new tech. I love new tech. I want the newest shit. And I got it and I was like, what are we doing here? This. I don't see any difference other than now it sounds like an airplane still taking off. It doesn't matter, even with the OG base PS4. But they definitely did it right on the PS5 Pro. Like you were saying, I feel like that's fantastic. And you know, that can, with all the updates, can prolong this. I can definitely see that. But I also see the other side of that, to kind of be devil's advocate here, is they release phones every year, iPhones, Androids, whatever, every year. So what is to stop them, especially when they are cross generational games anyways? What's to stop them from being like, hey, here's some more we can throw out. We have the base model stuff. Here's some extra innards. We're becoming closer and closer with PC. Here's a better graphics card, and here's a custom chip of this for the eccentrics out there like myself, maybe. But doesn't make sense. I don't know. But we'll just kind of have to see, I think. But yeah, it can definitely be with them saying that. I can definitely see that being extended. But you just never know until the time comes. You know how much they want to sit on that, because you know they're in the labs right now creating next gen. They want to sit on it, or do they want to put it out? So, technology ages at an advanced rate, right?
So it's that fine tune of what they think they can do with the PS5 Pro versus the next PS6, right?
Yeah.
Because what they did was when they released the PS5, it was the PS4 Pro that got cut.
Yeah.
They immediately cut that, but they kept the PS4 Slim going. I was like,
yep.
So that's a weird thing, right? Because, you know.
Yeah.
So it's really how much, I think it's really, part of it is how much more success or what success level they can get out of the PS5 Pro. Like if they could convince more people to buy the PS5 Pro because of, let's say, this major update, I think GTA 6 is going to be, out of any game, I think GTA 6 is going to be probably one of the most impactful games for the Pro, because I think that game will easily, to the casual, right? To the hardcore, we know Pro's better than PS5 and the Series X. That's easy, right? That we know that. But for the casual, some of them be like, I don't see a difference, like whatever, you know, because they'd watch a YouTube video at 1080p. So obviously, like, oh, I don't see the difference between the, because most videos are 1080p. Like, you're not gonna see the difference. Like, all right, got it, whatever. But if, like, say a game like GTA 6 comes out and it's locked 30 on the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, but the Pro version is the one with the 60 FPS performance mode, because that has the hardware to do it, that's easy. Everybody will say, like, yo, I'm not playing lock 30 Grand Theft Auto 6 on the PS5. Some will, but others are gonna be, I'm upgrading to the Pro. I'm getting the Pro. That's when you hear the hysteria. I'm upgrading. They're like, why are you upgrading? You ain't heard about Grand Theft Auto 6, dog? That thing's 60 frames. Even the casuals will have that conversation. Like, oh, I'm upgrading. Yeah. And then the other casual will be like, why are you upgrading? It's the same shit. Nah, dog. GTA 6 is 60 frames. It's 60 frames. That's it. That's all they know. I'm getting the Pro. And that, I think that could be a very influential game if that scenario happens, where people now are like, and even some PC gamers, you know, because you don't know when they're going to port Grand Theft Auto 6. And some PC, and I will say, if there's one game some PC gamers won't wait for, is that. Because then they'll be behind the online. They'll be behind so much, they're not going to wait for that game. They'll be like, I'm getting the Pro. Just for this, you know. So I think I think Grand Theft Auto 6 would be a very influential game. And if I was Sony, I would only pack Grand Theft Auto in the Pro bundle, at least for the first couple of months. Like for maybe for let's say like the first year. The first year, PS5 Pro, Grand Theft Auto 6 bundle, that's it. After a year, okay, now you get the PS5 Standard Edition bundle. That's how I would do it. If I would be slick like that.
Yeah,
GTA 6 custom Pro bundle with the plates and everything. Custom controller in one box for the PlayStation 5 Pro, and no PS5, no regular PS5 edition, just the Pro.
Yeah.
And then a year later, all right, now we got the PS5 Slim. I'll be an asshole. Hey, people looking like, oh, Puertorock, you are an asshole. You are a corporate ass. Like, yeah, I can corporate too. I can be a corporate snake too.
Yep. Absolutely,
I can be a disgusting corporate snake.
That's business, man. Like it's business 101, right? So shit. I mean, you want to talk about a system seller? That's what GTA 6 is a system seller, and it would sell that Pro model.
No.
It would make the PC elitists be like bending the knee. I ain't gonna wait a year plus to play this game. I'm buying a PS5 Pro, chat.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Andrew Wilkins, okay, he says all Xbox fans are toxic, prejudiced pieces of shit. Oh shit, Andrew. Oh man, my man's he's lashing out. He's like, you know what? Screw these guys. Thank you for the note, Andrew. Victory. Oh, you finally have Xvault on. He's a real one. You see? I told you. They've been asking you. I'm not lying. So people think I'm lying when I say, hey, the community's been asking for you. You're like, all right, Puertorock, I'll come on. I'm like, I'm not lying. You'll see once you show up. Liquid Data. PSSR trained FSR4, then FSR4 trained PSSR. That's Sony AMD collaboration. I think that's a great collaboration. A lot of people don't know that, Lisa Su, right? She's the CEO of AMD. But what people don't know is she worked for IBM. She was one of the lead designers of the cell processor. Some people don't know that. So Sony relationship with Lisa Su extends back to the PS3. So this AMD relationship is not an accident. Not an accident at all. They've been having a great relationship together for a long time. But yeah, she was like, you could technically say she's the mother of the cell processor. With because it was a collaboration between Sony, IBM, and Toshiba. I think it was them three together.
I believe so. Something like that.
It was like a collaboration, but she was one of the lead engineers. So you could say she's the mother of the cell. Funny. All right. So, hey, I hope you enjoy. I'm glad you guys are happy. Like I said, I got Xvault on, right? I hope you're happy. So if you're happy, can you hit the like button if you haven't already? If you did, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate the super chats. I appreciate the conversations and stuff, right? So now we're going to talk what you guys really are here for. PlayStation guys talking about Xbox, because that's just how it is. This is what you guys love, right? Okay? Because we're the only, listen, people thinking, why do PlayStation guys talk about Xbox? Because we're the only one honest about it. That's the reason why. You can't listen to an Xbox guy actually talk about Xbox, because they're not honest. They're not honest when it comes to, so somebody has to be honest, and it's the PlayStation guys. We're an honest community. We are a good Christian community, okay? we are good, God-fearing, Bible-reading Christian community here at PlayStation. We speak the truth. We preach scripture. Now I'm playing. Let me not piss off people by saying that.
I know. Right? You're
I lost subscribers. I'm atheist. All right. I think we could both agree on one thing.
Yeah.
Since the Xbox One launched in 2013, Xbox overall had a dramatic facelift. They got a BBL, silicon shots, bow tie. They are completely different what they are now. And it was a rapid change, especially this gen. This gen accelerated. Like, we started out, you said like 2020, you would start 5 years ago doing a little content, and you got back in. Were you familiar what was happening in 2020 before the launch consoles? Like Xbox Series X versus PS5. They were saying that Series S can compete with the PS5. Not full RDNA, RDNA 1.5. PS5 is overclocked. Like, there was a lot of Resident Evil 8 having trouble running 1080p 60 on the PS5. Is overheating. Like, yo, it was so...
The liquid metal, don't stand it up.
Oh, it was bad. It was
Yeah.
bad, right? But anyway,
Yeah.
there was the perception of Xbox this gen being more competitive, having a higher market share, primarily because of the Xbox Series S, cheaper price point. Xbox Series X hardware configuration and specs leading to have the best version of multiplats. So the combination of having the best performance with the Series X or the cheapest entry in next generation gaming at $300, all wrapped around Game Pass, where you get hundreds of games at a low monthly cost. Huge expectation of Microsoft going back to the 360 days. You know, at a minimum, a split market once again. Half PlayStation 5, half Xbox, overall balanced market, whatever. Clearly, it did not turn out that way at all, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Most of us saw the signs of, like, things are bad for Xbox, so they got to go third party. They resisted,
Yeah.
but it happened. And now it looks like Microsoft's going to move away from the traditional console stuff.
Yep.
And now potentially PC, right? How do you feel about Xbox leaving the console?
Well, that's the thing. A lot of
Seeing,
people
you
are
know,
like, you just, yeah, they want us to say, or they put the words in our mouths that we wanted Xbox to die, go away, and all that stuff. We don't, because competition, again, back from what we started the podcast with, is competition breeds success. You cannot have one or two in the business. I mean, Nintendo's doing their own thing. Nobody's competing directly with Sony at this point, with PlayStation at this point. It's not a good thing. I love the competition, man. You exclusive to exclusive. I used to fear every E3, like, man, what's the other competition? You know, because I preferred my box.
who's
You know,
who's
what's
gonna have the better
competition?
show?
Yeah,
Who's gonna show the better
who's have better
games? Who's gonna have
show?
the
Yeah,
exclusives, right?
what's going on? Yeah, all that stuff. It was the next Halo going to be huge? Are they coming out with the new IP? You know, they freaking have Rare. What are they going to do with Banjo Kazooie? All this stuff, and they just consistently, to the point where I kept as a PlayStation main fan, I kept giving them. I wouldn't say excuses. I kept giving them chances. Like, okay, they kept failing. They're gonna show up this next time. Fail. They'll show up next time. And when I say fail, I mean every time they had their shows and their next iteration of generation, I was just like, guys, if I'm giving them chances, why are the hardcores giving them chances? Because I have secondhand embarrassment from what's going on with these guys. I mean, what are we doing? Um, but
We're
yeah,
embarrassed
I
for
definitely,
you. We
yeah,
are
I'm
embarrassed
embarrassed
for you.
for
Yeah.
you guys. Like, what are we doing? I was working at the time that Xbox One generation and the PS4 generation, right, was coming out. I was working at a call center at the time, and we we had computers and stuff there, and I was watching that stuff live, and I was just like, man, the whole call center was roaring out of that Xbox presentation, because we're like, what is this? Because you expected them to come out swinging after the 360, right? Like, PlayStation better watch out. I know PS3 caught up towards the end, but they still need to
But
watch out. They had hiccups, right?
they had the
And just watching
momentum
that,
on their
we were,
side.
yeah, and just how you fumble it that bad is just insane to me. I mean, that shit needs to be studied. Truly, it's just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's just-
It was
but
a
yeah,
fumble.
it was a major fumble, and then they did. I think what they were going for, again, COVID, and they, now correct me if I'm wrong, with the Series S, that had to be been in development before COVID, right? I mean,
Yeah, they
they
were
didn't
both
have, yeah,
consoles. Yeah.
yeah, both before consoles. But I think with COVID in the mix, right? You would think that on paper that would make sense. Like, hey guys, COVID hit. You know, unfortunately, some jobs are affected. This is an easy entry point, and this is going to get more units in the household. We may have an advantage here, guys. I
This is
think
three
on
hundred
paper,
dollars. It was a very
yeah,
cheap product.
very cheap product. And so I thought for sure, even I thought, I was like, man, if they do this right, if they have the games, because you can have all the cheap consoles and everything else in there. If you have the games, you're going to do something. They didn't have the games. They didn't have the games that they needed. And
They
fast
didn't
forward
have.
to
They didn't
today,
launch.
man.
Yeah, they didn't launch with anything.
Yeah.
You know, if you remember the launch in November 2020, they didn't even have the power narrative. Because if you remember
Yeah.
November 2020 and December 2020, that's when the tools. Oh, the tools. That's what.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
listen, if you launch your console and you're already damage controlling, you lost the fight. You already lost.
Yeah.
You already lost. If now you're telling people, hey, we launched a new console, but you gotta wait about a year or so for us to figure it out, you lost. Like you give up that angle. But what's even worse, I remember even looking at Xbox podcasts and content creators, a new console launch, and they're primarily talking about how well that new console is running old games because of auto smart boost and auto shift and auto HDR and auto FPS. I'm like, so a new console comes out and the primary conversations are old games running better. No one's trying to hear that. That's not like,
No.
God, I get it, but that should just be a sidebar conversation. That shouldn't be the main plate. Where's the main plate? Where is like the main game? Even if it's cross-gen, where is the new game that's really out there? You know, because at least, you know, PlayStation launched with Miles Morales, which was a huge hit on PS5, Demon Souls remake, right? So at least you have something new. Xbox didn't have anything new, like nothing. And I'm like, you get out of gen with nothing. Really nothing, because I think Halo Infinite was supposed to be that game.
Yeah.
Got delayed.
Didn't. Yep.
You know, even Microsoft Flight Simulator wasn't ready at launch.
Yeah.
Like, you got nothing. There's no new games. It's insane what this company did.
And that just goes to show that the other big key to that, right, is their management, you know, and we can blame Phil all we want, but it takes a team to screw it up, not just one person. And to sit there in your business offices making decisions and not lighting a fire under some dev team to be like, Infinite may have to be off because we're having this games as a service iteration attached to it too, guys, or whatever we're doing, but we have got to hit the ground running with the Halo title at launch. Let's keep this going. We got to make up ground from last generation. We screwed up bad. We didn't catch up. We didn't do this. We didn't do that. We have to have Halo, or at the very least, you know, something else that just hit that home run again. And they didn't. And it wasn't even the launch period. And again, you can correct me if I'm wrong here too, P Rock or chat, but didn't they go another year, right off the top of my head, without any exclusive again? Like not only the launch portion, but also a year or two after that, they had nothing the entire year, but third party.
I can't remember. It was so lackluster. I couldn't even answer that question. Like, I'm not sure what they released in 2021. Like, by the end of 2021, I honestly don't know. Did Halo Infinite launch by 2021? Let me see. When did Halo Infinite launch? I don't know. I'll be honest. I played it, and it was so underwhelming. Let me see. Halo Infinite release date was I think it was December 8th, 2021. I think that's what it says. So it released.
Yeah, I think it
was like late. Okay, so like in December of 2021 it looks like.
I think it was late.
Halo Infinite released on December 8th. So literally the last month of the year. So wow. So it just made it, which is like, you know,
that's
in
brutal.
before
all
the
year
lock.
You're waiting. You might as well wait till January. What's the point, in my opinion? But so just nonstop, man.
I played it and it wasn't. I was like, I played on Game Pass for $1. I beat it and I'm like,
just like whatever.
You know what I mean? It wasn't like it didn't give me that. You know, when I play Halo 1 on the OG Xbox, I was like, what the? You know, I'm like, yo, this is something PlayStation is not doing. The PS2 was the best console overall, but I admit that game, PlayStation didn't have a competitor. I'm like, holy cow, this is something like this, you know, I got the OG Xbox, Microsoft. I'm like, oh, Microsoft, if they keep doing this, Sony better watch out. And then when the 360 came out and Gears of War came out, I'm like, come on, bro. They're getting in it. They're bringing out the big guns, right? And when they chased after, you know, exclusives or timed exclusives, right? Mass Effect, Oblivion, BioShock. I'm like, you know, I would say one of the biggest moves, and people didn't realize this, was actually Virtua Fighter 5. Because Virtual
Yeah,
Fighter
yeah.
5 launched on PlayStation 3, but it was just a single player. You know, like, there was no multiplayer. And a lot of people say, oh, yeah, the game mechanics is not going to work well in an online multiplayer because you're going to have lag and hit detection. Mm-mm. When they launched on Xbox, it launched with online multiplayer, and it was great.
Oh yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, this is like a whole new thing now. Like 360 is making a name for itself. It's doing things
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
360 does what PlayStation don't type scenario. This reminds me,
Pretty much.
like it reminds me of the
Yeah.
Sega Nintendo. Like we doing what they can, and I'm like, PlayStation better step up their game because like this is some good shit that Xbox is doing. This Xbox ever since the Xbox One, I'm like, I had an Xbox One. That was the last Xbox console I bought. After the Xbox One, I'm like, I'm not buying another Xbox. This is what they're doing.
Yeah.
Like this is terrible.
Yeah.
Like this console's terrible. The games are terrible. I played Recore. Oh my god! I'm like the game like glitched to where I can't even beat it. Like I beat some of the games. I'm like this is such an unsatisfying. Like when you buy a console for the exclusives, so you obviously you're not gonna play it a lot. But when you do play it, you're playing it for the exclusives, and you expect the exclusives to be great. I had a GameCube. The exclusives were great. I had the Dreamcast. Exclusives were great. I had a Saturn. The exclusives were great. I didn't play the multiplats on them, but the exclusives. I had a TurboGrafx 16. The exclusives was great. The Xbox One, I'm like, the exclusives aren't great. So if the exclusives aren't great, I'm not going to fault me not playing the multiplats on the Xbox One. I'm not going to do that. I just strictly judge it on the exclusives. And it just wasn't great.
Yeah.
Console to me, I'm like, if this is the new Microsoft, if they don't know how to make great, compelling games, I'm like, I'm not going to mess with their next generation console. I saw the next generation console's flaws. It didn't launch with a game. I'm like, oh no, this brand is going in the.
Yeah, it's just, and anybody, I've been brutal about it, but anybody that didn't have a bias towards it could see it coming a mile away, and people got upset about that, and it's like, guys, and then when they were doing the acquisitions, I'm like, guys, they cannot manage what they have. They just can't. What makes you think they're gonna manage two of the largest acquisitions in gaming history? How does this bode well for that company? It just doesn't, and it's going to be a mess. And it's just one thing after another. It's just crazy. Um, Maybe this is a little bit of bias talk here, but I was a huge World of Warcraft fan back in the day and played many years through that. Why hadn't somebody been on the dev team or somebody within that group say, you know what, Final Fantasy 14's on MMO is on consoles. Why are we not having World of Warcraft on consoles? What are we doing here? But there's just so many missed opportunities that it can bring IPs over as well that they already have that wouldn't, I think, would take much. So they had the recipe for success. They could have reset again once they acquired these acquisitions. They just didn't. They just cannot manage what they have.
Do you think? And I mentioned this. Do you think Microsoft took on too much too fast instead of addressing? Like Xbox One, to me, the main problem was their first party games and them identifying quality games. And what I mean by identifying is, to me, a publisher has two responsibilities. Obviously, the creation of your own first party games, but also being keen on what's out there that can make your own platform look good, which is the party relationships and the third party relationships. Right?
Yeah.
I feel they didn't address that because that was the main problem of the Xbox One. They didn't address that, and they put Game Pass and then putting games on PC as a priority, when really the problem was the console itself and the games, right? Your own first-party games and reaching out to titles and get third-party relationships. Like just pretty much what they did for the 360. Mass Effect, right, was a third-party game. Oblivion, Elder Scrolls was a third-party game. BioShock was a third-party game, right? They went out and got these titles, right, to bolster the look of their platform, right? I think they didn't see themselves as a publisher, be like, wait a minute, you guys in the publishing department, you guys suck. You're not picking the right games, and then the games we're creating, they're not good. We need better people to identify, hey, this project looks good. This project looks good. Hey, I see this third party or second party. Those projects looks good. Let's get them onto Xbox. Let's get them on there. Do you feel they focus on the wrong thing first, and now it just ultimately led to their demise.
Absolutely. I mean, they did a lot of things. I think it's coupled with Game Pass, and we'll get to Game Pass in a moment here, but they tried to do, I like to make the analogy of what the DCEU did with under Zack Snyder, right? They go, here's a pre-existing MCU. We need to play catch up. Let's just do this, this, and this, and this. And you may have a couple pieces of good content there, but ultimately you're rushing your quality of work, you're rushing your IPs, you're rushing, and it's obvious. And yeah, they just continue to do that. And then coupled in, they focused on the wrong things, like you said. They weren't focused on what they needed to do, which was treat their already established IPs, the reason why you have Xbox fans, as that golden crown, and then work around that and be like, hey guys, yeah, you got this great Halo game and Forza game and Gears and etc. And then we're going to start filtering in these new IPs that you guys are going to love as well, perhaps, or whatever they want to do with that. They could have also, in the meantime, in between those titles, really freshening up those first party IPs. They could have made the timed exclusives like Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth. Sony didn't have to do that. They could have went to Square Enix and been like, we got the bag. We're going to invest. This is going to attract more people over here, perhaps. I mean, there's a lot of opportunity there. And then with that, they didn't manage that right. Incoming Game Pass. This is what we're doing with that. We're going to put our first party IPs on there. There's no way that's going to devalue anything in the gaming ecosystem, right? No, it did. It was with it not. I think it was that red herring. I think if it would have done something, if it would have latched on and everybody goes, you know what, we're ready for this. I also think Game Pass was a little ahead of its time. And if they would have waited a little bit more for people to get on board with more streaming when it comes to gaming and stuff like that, and actually had more quality to put out at once, I think that could have changed things too. But they had the wrong focus, and I think that focus was everywhere. And Game Pass helped them not focus as a whole. I think that was this blackened rainbow, so to speak, of like, guys, we got to put all our effort and concerted efforts and funds and stuff into this. This is what we have to do to compete now. And they shouldn't have done that. Really. Oops, you might be on mute, buddy. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think they went. I'm sorry.
There
Thank
we
you. I think they went too fast trying to make Game Pass the platform, right?
Mhm.
I think they should have went slower because in reality, there was no high competitive market for subscription in gaming. It just wasn't there. There wasn't. It wasn't it's like live service. Live hyper competitive. Live service is a hyper competitive market. Game subscription isn't. There's really not a big competitive market in game subscription, right? So I think Microsoft thought, oh, we're going to start doing day and day games, and that's just going to make everybody jump. So I think they did a bad calculation on that. I think what they should have done was just, hey, we have a lot of games, monthly subscription, but I don't think they should have done the day and day game because I think that decision is what put them in the doghouse because they're losing a lot of money on big AAA projects day one by just giving it away. Especially at the time when they made the decision to go day and date, they were still doing the $1 deals. If you don't remember, Microsoft offered a transition. If you're on Xbox Live Gold for $1, your gold can be converted to Game Pass. So some people, before they did the conversion, they bought more gold and stacked it up to like 3, 4, 5 years of gold. Then they did the dollar conversion. Now they had Game Pass for 5 years. And then Microsoft said, oh, you get games day and date. Literally gave away games for free. All they did was convert to Game Pass for $1.
Yep.
So I think those little deals and whatever really hurt. They should have never done the day and date. I think they should have just been like, hey, we'll give you a lot of games. Eventually, we'll put our first party games 2 years after the fact, right? And stuff like that. I think they probably could have withheld trying to put their games on PlayStation because they're not hemorrhaging money with the day and date strategy, right? Maybe once in a while you put a smaller game day and date because even Sony does that, but they do it with these small titles. And they don't do it their big first party. They do like a small second party indie or something. Like, oh, all right, once in a while. I think they did with Rocket League. It was day and date. So an occasional, thing there too. But I think if they would have held off on the day and date, they would have been in a better position to really focus on exclusive, really focus on their ecosystem, not be in an emergency need of, oh, we need PlayStation because we need to make up sales somewhere. I think they would have been in a better position overall as a brand if they didn't do the day and date gaming. And I'm sure I know a lot of customers and I think if you ask a hardcore or an actual Xbox fan, you ask them, all right, if we were able to rewrite time under this condition, Microsoft never implements day and date gaming, but you still get your console, and your console at a minimum is just on PC. No games on PlayStation, no games on any platform, right? Right? And let's say it's not, let's say like the multiplayer's day and date on PC, but your single player is exclusive to your console. Would you take that environment now? I think they would. They would absolutely take an Xbox in that strategy, even if it means not getting day and date games on Game Pass anymore. They will absolutely take a console that focuses on exclusives, trying to beat out Sony, trying to say, hey, trying to get third party, trying to do them third party deals. I think almost any Xbox console game, I know the PC gamers wouldn't like it, right? They definitely wouldn't like that, But an Xbox console gamer would absolutely love that strategy instead of the day and date game for Game Pass. They absolutely would take it. Absolutely. A console, Microsoft focusing on exclusives, focusing on games for the console, not worried about PlayStation, trying to get third-party deals, trying to look at expanding with other developers to create new games, but it's on Xbox. They would absolutely love that environment, right? They don't got that right now. That's not Xbox. Nope. Xbox loves PlayStation.
Yep. Xbox loves money.
They love PlayStation. PlayStation's on their shows. They talk about PlayStation on their shows. They have no problem mentioning PlayStation when the games are coming. Crazy.
It is crazy. I have to admit it did happen a lot quicker than I thought it would. This whole transition from Xbox. I thought we would get or at least I would have thought they would have finished out this generation. The next generation start peeling the Band-Aid off. But yeah, they just were like, somebody in the projection forecast was back there crunching numbers and going, guys, it's looking so good. Yeah,
we're about to hit the iceberg. We got to abandon ship because the iceberg's coming. Let's not wait until they actually hit, Because they did say
hit a... Oh, no, you're good.
So Phil did say exclusives will only be on Game Pass supported platforms. He did say that on this gen.
Yep.
Game Pass on PlayStation. Something happened, and I think it was that. Do you think it was that ABK? Do you think that was the deal? Do you think they made a deal with the devil, and not read the fine print?
They did. They got too big for their britches, and they thought Candy Crush will bail us out, Call of Duty will bail us out, and it doesn't. The money doesn't come that quick. You still got to pay off all that debt. I can only imagine in my mind. Imagining somebody in the office anonymously sending Satya Nadella an email going, hey, look, we're screwed if you don't do something. Daddy Phil doesn't want to bring all the games everywhere. We're going to have to now because he's trying to put this under the rug, sweep it under the rug. And I know Phil didn't want to do it. It is a Satya thing. It is coming from the higher ups and, for sure. And anybody else
Phil just has to take the face shot.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just, that's what it came down to. I do believe, I know Phil lied, but I do believe he didn't want to do that. He's probably was trying to bend but not break to the other corporate folks over there and said, look guys, all right. Let's do the 4. Let's see what happens. No guarantees kind of thing. But somebody pushed and said, nah, floodgates are open, buddy.
We're not waiting. There's no. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for?
Yeah.
Like, no. Keep going.
Yeah. I think he wanted to go out and retire on his terms of like, it didn't happen under my regime. And now it happened under his regime.
Yeah, it did. It absolutely did. Maybe that's it. Like, if it's going to happen, it's not going to happen under me. And I don't think they had a choice. Because a year later, Forza. Ooh, that was a Band-Aid. That was.
Yeah.
That hurt.
That was the pillar.
That
Yeah.
was, because some people say, okay, it's Doom, Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones would have went to PlayStation anyway, but it's not Forza, Halo, and Gears. Oh, Forza. That was when they cracked. That was like,
Yeah.
okay. And then Gears. Oh, can you believe it? Gears. No,
Yeah.
PlayStation.
It's
I'll be honest. I know I said it was gonna happen, but the fact that it did happen, I was like, man. I was shocked. I'm like, I thought, like, I had a feeling it was going to third party, but it's something in my back of my mind is like, hey, Puertorock, you're gonna end up taking an L on this. You're gonna take an L. Like,
yeah.
you read the room wrong. It's really not that bad. No, it happened. I'm like, I was like, why can't I pick the lotto numbers like this, man?
Right.
Like, man, 6 numbers. I just need 6 numbers. Think 6 numbers. And just,
Let me retire. Yeah. Just come on. It's yeah, I mean, as soon as Forza broke, then I knew it was over. The rest of the slate for sure was coming. And it would be the same thing again if PlayStation had Uncharted or The Last of Us or God of War or Horizon single player heading over to Xbox. Be like, that's it, guys. The rest is coming. At some point, it's coming. So I knew as soon as Forza did. I knew there was a good chance that more would come. I didn't think it'd be the whole slate when we were getting just the 4.
I
But
thought maybe more Bethesda games, more Activision
yeah,
games, or maybe the stupid first party games, like, not stupid, but like South of Midnight. Games that don't really sell a lot. Give it a chance.
Mm-hmm.
But at least the Gears and the Halo would stay safe.
Yeah, like the Holy Trinity was safe. We're good, right? So, but it's just, did not expect it this generation until that started happening. And I was just like, but I always said, and people would argue with me for days, but like you were saying and alluding to, the first party games day one on Game Pass coupled with the dollar incentive. And I still think they're doing the guys, and let me know. But I believe they're still doing the rewards, Microsoft rewards. You're still getting Game Pass by doing the rewards.
I think they're trying to roll it back. I think I see some changes. I seen some a couple of months ago complaints that they're making it harder, but naturally, need you to pay for the stuff. And I tell people subscriptions. I don't care, even with PlayStation. If they're trying to make subscription services successful, success comes with 2 things: more people subscribing and price increase.
Yeah.
That's it. That's how Netflix did it. They kept. It seemed like they were increasing their price every 6 months. I remember Disney Plus was like $9 a month.
Oh man,
when it first launched, that was 2019. Now it's $25 a month.
Yeah,
within a 5-year. Within a 5-year period, it launched like $7-8 a month. Now it's like $25 a month. It's like,
that's the problem.
That's the
too,
secret.
Right?
They just keep raising the price. And they do this because I say they do this because they lock you in on how you consume. Because if you notice, right, I think we can all agree these streaming platforms changed how we watch movies and TV shows. We used to be at first free TV, and then cable came in. So we watched everything cable. But then once Netflix arrived, we got rid of the cable because we felt it's cheaper just to stream and watch whatever we want. But now we're so used to that even as they increase the prices, we're out of choice. If I don't pay this, then I lose access to how I watch movies because I don't have cable anymore.
Yep.
So it's either this or nothing. So people just stay,
Yeah. It's I do think that'll eventually break. It's gonna hit a levee, right? It's gonna break at some point because we're starting to see some competitors like, I know it's more of kind of a janky service, but like Pluto, right?
Tubi TV.
Yep. So you're getting the other angle of competitors coming in like, hey, yes, there's some older stuff. Here's some newer stuff, but it's an option. Here's a way out. Here's a way out because you got Netflix and Hulu and Disney and Paramount and Peacock and the list goes on.
MGM. I'm
MGM.
like, why is MGM? MGM, why you have your own stuff? Stop it. Like, no. Stop it, MGM. Get your ass onto one of the other channels.
Yeah. It's just so you have all those subscriptions too, and then you want to pay for your gaming subscription too, rather than just being like, and here's my thing. Like for me personally, why I don't like subscription services as a whole is because my gaming time is limited. Anybody that's an adult can probably attribute to that. You either got family or got a partner, you got kids, you got a job, all this stuff. So I don't want to be on a timer, so to speak, of re-upping my subscription to continually play a game that may or may not be removed from a service to begin with. If I just buy it outright, I don't feel pressure to finish that game. I can finish it 6 months from now. I can finish it 3 months from now. I can finish it 2 years from now. But and that's where I think a lot of folks don't understand. Not everybody can facilitate a subscription service like Game Pass at will. You can't go through the entire catalog at a whim and experience the game as a whole and fully. There's just no way. I don't care how much time you have on your hands. There's no way. But yeah,
Yeah, so I had a discussion with a friend on that one, right? And it ended up the combo being the reason why, because they try to attribute gaming and but movies do it and TV do it and even books, right? But the thing is, the amount of content per month that you can consume is in favor of those compared to game, right? So let's say, for example, let's say across the board you paid, $20 a month, whether it's gaming subscription or movie subscription or whatever, right? And let's say you can invest, let's just say, within a month, you can invest 60 hours towards that, hobby. So if you're a movie guy, you can watch 60 hours worth of movies and TV shows on your subscription. If you love music, you can listen to 60 hours worth of music. If you're a gamer, you can play 60 hours of games a month. When we just use the number 60. When you look at it,
yeah,
if you're a movie or TV show, right, at 60 hours, if you're primarily watching movies, you can watch, on average, if the movie's 2 hours, 30 movies a month. You have 60 hours to give. If you watch a TV show, and the TV show, let's say on average, is 1 hour, then you can watch 60 episodes per month. If it's a half hour, 120 episodes per month, right? If you love music and each song is 2 minutes, it's literally thousands. 60 hours of music at 2 minutes a pop, it's thousands of songs you can listen to a month. But for a game, you might only play one game. And you might not even finish it.
Yeah.
Because some games are like 70, 80 hours. So literally, you could be stuck playing one game and you didn't even finish it. You have to use the next month to finish it. So the volume of content in gaming versus movies and music is not there. Because for $20 a month in movies, you can watch, like I said, you can watch at 60 hours, you can watch 30 movies, 60 episodes, 120 episodes. Music, thousands, tens of thousands. But for game, maybe 1 or 2 games a month for the same $20.
Exactly.
So the value, so you see what I'm saying? And that's where, that's why, that's why subscription service for movies flourish. Because like you can literally binge a season in 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
You can't do that. And another part, right? Gaming per hour. So it's hard for me when people say there's more value in gaming than movies. I'm like 50-50 on that. I understand that, for, $70, you can get a game with 70, 80, 100 hours. But yeah, you go to a movie theater for $40, $50, you only get 2 hours. So the hour per cost comparison is in favor of gaming. I agree with that. But the one thing people don't know is movies do not gatekeep the content. And what I mean by that is, and Extreme touched on this, you can't see the rest of the game until you beat a certain aspect. Imagine you watch a movie and the movie says, oh, unless you climb this mountain, you can't see the rest of Mission Impossible. It doesn't do that. It allows you to easily access all the content of a movie. Gaming's not like that. If there's certain things you don't do, or let's say if you don't have the skill or whatever, you're not seeing the rest of the game. So you could buy a game and not see half of it. Not
Great
actually
point.
notice.
Yeah.
Or the games that have like different paths or whatever. You could play the game, like let's say like Silent Hill 2. You see one ending, but you didn't see the rest. So there's content in the game you don't get to see. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like, so it's iffy. Because movies, you see all the content. Even if it is 2 hours, you see all of it. you're not gatekeeped away from the content. It's passive. All you gotta do is sit and watch. While gaming, you gotta put in work to see the next content. And if you don't put in that work, you know how many people don't finish games? There's a lot.
Yeah.
You see
Tons.
achievements. You see Xbox achievements all the time. Some of
Oh
them,
gosh.
I think only like 10% beat the first stage on Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah, it's just
They didn't see the whole
which is
game.
travesty. Yeah.
But you see what I'm saying? They didn't see the whole game. So you're
Yeah.
paying $20 a month and you're not even seeing all of the content that you're paying for. Netflix, you see all the content.
Yeah.
You see? So that's another thing about, I think that's the challenge behind subscription service and why like Game Pass can't really so far is having a hard time trying to break into the 60, 70 million. The reason why I use those numbers because remember Game Pass came out in 2017. It even came out 2 years before Disney Plus. Disney Plus came out in 2019, and that service is already like 180, 200 million. Game Pass is still fighting this 35 million crowd. You know?
Yeah.
Because how much content per month can you play with $20? It's not the same with, movie and music. Movie and music, you have a lot of content. Like Spotify.
Yep.
I pay, I think it's like $9 a month for Spotify. But you know how much content I hear on Spotify? Because I driving to work, driving back to work, or just listen to the radio. I'm like, it's infinite.
Yeah.
Insane what I get, Gaming has that challenge.
It does. Yeah, perfect. I haven't heard that analogy of a breakdown for it, but I appreciate that insight because you're right. That's another angle of it, and it's we always knew it was a different type of entertainment, a different medium of entertainment and consumption, but to have it broken down like that, that's great. But yeah, because you're right. It's just totally different, and it's skill, it's everything else. And not to mention something else to me when I have subscribed to Game Pass before and I have subscribed to PS Plus Extra and whatever, right? Is the stuff sits there, and to me, again, it's like it's on a subscription. I don't have to get to that game that does pique my interest because I want to get to the games I paid for first before I even touch those. So again, you're having it sitting there sucking your money, and how do you become
it just sits there.
successful?
Yeah, it's like how do you justify that $20 cost? How do you justify that cost, right? And you're primarily playing Call of Duty.
Yeah,
I think that's what's happening.
Or Fortnite, right?
I think people intend to, Game Pass is great, but they don't realize how many hours they put in Madden or how many hours they put in NBA 2K, and you're not actually playing. And the way I notice, I'm like, people are not really using Game Pass as they claim to do. Sure, a few hardcore are, but when you have, let's say, a game like Doom, and they hype, we got 2 million players. I'm like, wait a minute, there's 30 million Game Pass. They alone should have pushed Doom to like 15, 16 million.
Easily.
Like they have, all they got to do is hit a button that says download and play. There's no gatekeep barrier to try the game out. So when I see these games that are on Game Pass and they're talking about 2, 3 million players across Xbox, PC, and PlayStation, I'm like, Game Pass alone should be pushing these games, at least the very big ones, to the 10 million player mark. Because you could get 10 million, you can't get 10 million players who actually pay $20 a month to simply take their controller and just do this. Pretend it's Xbox controller. Download. Play.
Yeah.
You can't get 10 million players on average for the big games, for the Dooms, for the Indiana Jones. You know what I'm saying? South of Midnight, okay, maybe just people ain't interested.
Sure. New IP, whatever, right?
But Doom should have gotten 10 million players from Game Pass alone. This is Doom. Yeah. You're telling me 2 million players across PC, PlayStation, and Xbox played Doom. What is Game Pass doing then? What are they playing?
Yeah,
I don't know what it's 35 million playing. What are they playing?
No, that's a great question because I would love to see that breakdown. I'm sure there is a data or statistical breakdown on that somewhere, but you're right. I think it's used as a crutch for the community, the Xbox community. It's like, we got this. It's the best deal in gaming, right? That's the quote forever. It's the best deal in gaming. I have it, and it's an option. I don't always. That's worse if it's an option because you're paying for it and you're not utilizing it. That's not a good rebuttal. That's not good. It just baffles me every time they utilize that. It's just like that's not do you see how that's not working in your favor? You're throwing
Mhm.
money out the window. If you want to throw money out the window, you do what you want. It's your money, your wallet, all that stuff. But it's that's not a W at all. So
Right. We're gonna move on to Nintendo. I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions about
let's do that.
Nintendo. But we're gonna start off with the genius with the $10 super chat. Thank you so much. What up, my fellow PR? Cool to see Xvault dig the content. I'm telling you, I'm not lying, brother. They're happy that
Thank
you're
you,
here. We'd love to see you on the podcast if you ever, if you're ever free to come through also with the rest of the crew. Will Helldivers 2 sell as well as FS16 on Xbox? Do you think Xbox will risk being labeled ponies like Aaron and Negan if they bought it? Hashtag Xbox is dog shit. I personally think Helldivers 2 is going to sell a lot better than F16 simply because FS16 bombed on Xbox. The Xbox gamers aren't interested in that game. We just got to stop. They don't care. Even like people say, oh, it's because it wasn't day one. I'm like, Final Fantasy 15 was day one. It was day one. You guys, these guys act like Final Fantasy was never day one on the Xbox platform. Final Fantasy 13 was day one. And the PS3 version still outsold it, and that's when 360 was at its best. You had a competitive market. Half the population of gen gamers was on 360, so it wasn't this huge lead on PlayStation. And the PlayStation 3 version still outsold it. And then the Xbox One version even got worse. And this is day one. So this day one excuse, no, you guys are not Final Fantasy 16 fans. You're not. If you're a Final Fantasy 16 fan, if you are a Final Fantasy fan, even if you know it's multiplat, you're gonna get a PlayStation. That's the line right there. Final Fantasy fans get PlayStations. They don't mess around and worry about PC or X. No, they already know. Like, even though a game that started on Nintendo, it eventually became synonymous with PlayStation. So Final Fantasy fans, if you're a Final Fantasy fans, if you're a JRPG fan in general, PlayStation. It's PlayStation. You're not gonna risk any other platform, right? And then Patrick Allen, thank you for the super chat. Game Pass should go back to $10. It did. They got to take away the day one games, because then the situation will be even worse. if they decrease the price, they're gonna increase the price. It's not gonna decrease. If they stay stuck at 35-40 million, then the only other option is aggressive increase of price, kind of like what Disney did. Like every 6 months you get an email. They try to sneak an email in your junk box. October whatever, we're gonna increase the price by $3, and then like 6 months later, oh, we're gonna increase it by $2. By the time you know it, it's $25 a month by the time you realize it. So here's my question with Nintendo, right? And I'm gonna preface this with Black Bond. So my first disagreement day, just to give you a heads up, next week will be a disagreement day, so stay tuned for that one.
Okay.
I had Black Bond on the show, talked about stuff, but he made a good point that I didn't even think about, and it's a brilliant point. We both know Nintendo is not into the power narrative. They're just not. They don't claim. They don't even talk about it. I'll be honest. I talk a little bit of shit about Nintendo's power, but not because I'm talking shit to Nintendo. I'm just making fun of the fanboys that promised power. Like Nintendo God. You know who I'm talking about. Those accounts.
Yeah. Oh,
you
Lord.
promise on par with PS5, you didn't deliver. So when I talk about shit Nintendo, I'm not really talking about them. It's not their fault. They are not promising power. They're not promising, doing things better than PlayStation or being competitive. They're not. They just want to come out with a more powerful hardware for their needs. It's these Nintendo accounts that are messing it up or putting Nintendo in a bad position for no reason. They should not, but they are. But anyway, Black Bond did come up with a good point. He said that despite Nintendo not chasing power, they will catch up naturally because of diminishing returns. Every generation, it is getting harder and harder really naturally distinguish the graphical fidelities and performance of games without some type of service like Digital Foundry or NXT Gamer. Like those gamers help give us the differences. But you see what they're doing now. They're freeze framing, they're zooming to the background, and that's how we could tell the performance difference. They have frame rate counters. But even then, as we go deeper into generations, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and more hardware keeps developing, that gap is going to close. Soon, 60 frames is just going to be the default. And now we're going to argue 90 frames. We're going to argue 120 frames. 60 frames is no longer going to be a conversation. Everything's going to be naturally 60 frames default simply because of the hardware. He says that gives Nintendo an advantage because it's going to get to the point, sure, they have weaker hardware, but once they hit the point, whether it's the Switch 3 or even the Switch 4, there's going to be a point where Nintendo is naturally 4K 60 with the bells and whistles. So why we're going to argue? Nintendo's not 180. Nintendo's not 240 FPS. We're not going to argue that.
No.
So now imagine a world with a Switch, let's say 3 or Switch 4. Let's say Switch 3, right? Because they'll probably won't release a new Switch for like 8-9 years. Switch 3, 4K 60, maybe 120 hertz option. Ray tracing, all the bells and whistles, and still has exclusives.
Yep.
Nothing. PlayStation gets nothing. Could Nintendo eventually be the dominant console because it has the performance? Because again, sure, the PlayStation 6 could be like, oh, look at us, we're like 8K. We went to like, all right. Nintendo Switch, third party, 4K 60, ray tracing, beautiful graphics, and exclusives. Could Nintendo eventually come back as it's just pretty much a matter of time? Like, hey, we're cool. We're the Wii console. Don't worry about us. Ignore us. And then all of a sudden, one day, you're like, wait a minute. Man, these graphics, this Switch 3 graphics actually is nice. 4K 60, DLSS 4, and exclusives. Could Nintendo come back? Could like a future Nintendo console, while PlayStation's still putting games on PC, putting games on it, whatever. Who knows what Sony will do? Could Nintendo, with a Switch 3 or Switch 4, now end up being like, oh, this is the console? That's a possibility. I didn't think about that until Black Bond painted that picture. Diminishing returns is going to put Nintendo naturally on a similar pedestal. So then what you're going to argue with a Nintendo Switch 3 that does actually 4K 60, maybe 120, great graphics, ray tracing. What does PlayStation provide, especially if they're games on other places? And Nintendo still's like, nope. Our games is exclusive. Not like console exclusive. No. Real, true to life exclusive.
Yep.
Do you think that's a possibility when Nintendo could come back? We come full circle. How they started is how they ended. They just took a long way, but they finally came back. Right? Yeah, right? What do you think about that?
I think that's great. I like that you brought that up because, a lot of us probably don't even think that way, but you're absolutely right. I can see that as being a reality because what sells hardware, again, the games. And if you have the games only available on a certain ecosystem, that's what's going to help you catch up, right? And then, like you said, like what's the matter of 8K versus 4K, right? We have some 8K content out there right now, but you can't really tell. Yeah, nobody cares, right? So yeah, they could certainly come around. They could do a lot more with it, but yeah, they could be playing the long game. And with games, the cartridges won't matter, right? Because they're all going digital. Everything's going digital, right? So that's another hot topic there. But if they do that, I can easily see that. And wouldn't that be the ultimate story, right?
Wouldn't that be after years of getting beat down, Nintendo comes back and wins in the end? That would be insane. That would be absolutely insane. That you're just patience and making great games will, and to be honest, it's insane. But when you think about it, as long as you make the great games for your platform and you don't worry about any other BS, because it's true, Nintendo's not worrying about any other BS. They're not worrying about the live service. They're not worried about multi-pass strategy, trying to increase profit to extreme. They just want to create a hardware, and they just want to create the best games. And those best games is going to be on that hardware they created. They're not talking about anybody else. Technically speaking, 100%. If you stay true to that, you will eventually come out winning. Eventually, it's just a matter of time. If you stay true to that, games sell hardware.
Yep,
And if you're the
absolutely.
one,
And I do want to interrupt you just real quick because your
okay.
mic is cracking. I know the audience was kind of saying, so I just
Oh,
wanted
it's
to let you know it's
cracking.
kind of cracking.
Oh my god! And this is all right. Let me back out. I'll be back in because
Okay.
I bought a new cable.
Okay, all good.
All right, hold on.
Get right there. There we go. There we go.
All right, how about now? Did it stop?
Oh, still cracking. Still static.
Let me see this. Hold on. Oh, now.
There we go. Beautiful.
Oh, so I had to restart the Voidcaster. Oh man, I hope my
Okay.
Voicecaster 1 is not messing up.
I don't
All
believe
right.
so. I think it's still going.
Is it cracking?
No cracking.
Okay, no cracking. Okay. All right, let me
So we're good.
okay, so now I just gotta put this back on the main screen. Oh man, I hope my Voidcaster is not getting defective. I bought a new cable because I thought it was a cable maybe, so I bought a new cable.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. This is interesting. This is interesting. All right. Man, content creation is so expensive.
It
Always
is, isn't
something.
it? Isn't
You
it?
know. And y'all play on PC with all this nonsense? This is
My
terrible.
thing, man. That's terrible, man.
Okay, all right. But yeah, so imagine, all right. So currently right now with Switch 2, what's your outlook so far on Switch 2? Like do you think it's gonna? I think it launched. I think the success of the launch is phenomenal. It sold a lot out the gate.
Yeah.
Do you think it's gonna do what it normally does? It survives on its first party. As long as Nintendo releases great games for its audience, because this is the thing. A lot of people complain, like me. The only game I care about from Nintendo is Metroid. The rest of the games I don't care about. But the way I see Nintendo games is no different than the way I see Gran Turismo 7. I don't like it, but I can recognize for the audience is very successful. I'm not blind to not recognize Gran Turismo 7 is one of PlayStation's huge IPs and very successful, simply because I don't like it.
Yeah.
The same way for Nintendo first party IPs. I don't really care about Donkey Kong. I'm not really interested in Super Mario. But I'll be a fool not to say. In Mario Kart, it's the combination. I can't stand racers. But I would be a fool to say that those games aren't the big hitters for that audience. And they will buy it. They will buy a Switch. And they will play Mario Kart. They will play Donkey Kong, right? So if Nintendo keeps making the games that audience wants, they're going to buy the Switch. Whether it's $450, $500, they don't care. Because it's exclusive.
Doesn't matter.
And you can't play it. And that's what they want to play. So I think as long as Nintendo does that, they're going to sell 100 million consoles. And they ain't dropping the price.
No. They'll increase it if anything, and people will still buy it. Yeah. Still buy it. Doesn't matter. They got the again, we're going to go back to the Golden Goose thing. Aside from Mario and Legend of Zelda and Mario Kart, DK, all the other first party stuff, Mario Party. What's that big one that's going to keep everybody coming back, guys? All the ones I mentioned, yeah, sure, but what is it? It's Pokemon, right? The Pokemon fanatics out there.
That thing
as long as that's locked to that,
it's over.
GG's.
It's over. It's over. Pokemon, it's over.
Oh,
I'm gonna tell you, I ain't gonna lie. I said Metroid Prime, but there is one game, Dust Bloods.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, Sony, you're so stupid. Like that game, like how could you let Nintendo do that to you? like
Isn't that crazy?
Like we've been begging for a Bloodborne sequel or even a remake.
Oh yeah.
But they just won't do it. I don't get it. Like it's easy.
One, right?
We answered half your problems for you.
Yeah.
Just do it. Just do what we tell you to do and you'll be fine. Yeah. No, but Nintendo releases Dog's Bloods. It's exclusive also.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'll be like, that's another game. And I say I'll play it. Like I know I'm talking shit about the Switch too, but I will eventually get one to play Metro Prime. I gotta play Metro Prime. Love that franchise. And Dust Bloods. Even if it's just 2 games, I will play it. And of course my wife will play Mario Kart. She loves that.
Yeah.
But it's exclusives. I gotta play those games and I'm not gonna cry, oh my god, it's not on my platform.
Yeah, no. You're gonna play what you want to play where you want to play. If you're a gamer, you're going to do that. So
if anything, probably the reason why Dust Blood is being created is because Nintendo's fighting PlayStation in a certain way.
Yep.
To me, that's a signal like Nintendo's trying to say something. Because out of all the games, why that one? Why would you go after and then call it Dust Bloods, right? Like, wait a minute. What are we doing? You know, that reminds me of Dark Souls, right? It's like you had Demon Souls, then they created a multiplat Dark Souls. Okay, you're saying something, you're signaling something to your audience. So now they got this game, Dust Bloods. They could have named this something different, something totally different.
Oh yeah.
But they named it Dust Bloods. Like, it's a shot. It's a shot at Sony in Bloodborne.
Yep. For sure.
And I love it. Sure. I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Good.
I'm here for competition. Do it.
Yeah. Sony deserves a backlash. They deserve it. That's competition. Maybe Sony could be like, oh, okay. You want to play games? All right, now we're really going to release a Bloodborne sequel. Yeah, no shit. You should have done that from the get-go. You could have been done that.
Yep.
You know.
It's crazy. Some of those decisions, man, are just so crazy. But yeah, if you don't, Nintendo's, like I said, they're doing their own thing for now. But eventually, like you said, that could totally catch up. They could be back in the main fight of things. Why not? You know? So you gotta always keep them in your rearview mirror, at least paying attention, because they can sneak up on you. But yeah, the Nintendo fanboys are just, I mean, they're not doing any favors to the brand outside of Nintendo, right? Like you were saying, I just want to hit that up a little bit because it's the biggest thing I say for Xbox is because people overhype it, spread misinformation. If you continue to do that to Nintendo, that's not going to help the brand out. It harms it more than does good. Just talk about the reality of it, the great games, what it can do, pros versus the cons, and you're okay. But once you start lying, start saying it's on par with other things and power and this and that, when they're not talking about that, that's not going to work out good if you're a Nintendo fan. I promise you, it's just not. So
you could the Nintendo fans could talk about the third party. Just don't. Just be honest. Be like, listen, it's not going to be on par with a PS5. It's weaker hardware. It's portable. There's going to be some concessions with frame rates and graphics and whatever. So that way when people be like, oh, the PS5 version is better, be like, yeah, it's weaker hardware, but it's portable and it's available, and that's it. If you're just honest about the platform and what it can do, then okay. Yeah, it's fine. If you want to play it on your Switch, you can. But if somebody tells you it's on par with the PS5, then someone's going to have the expectation with on par performance, on par graphics, and it's not. It's not even close. So then you get the flack, and then people get upset when you be like, "This thing sucks." Well, it's you guys who are saying it's on par, so we're going to hold it to that on par standard. And when it doesn't meet it, it's going to get the blowback. So stop saying that. Just accept the reality of what it is. The one last final topic. All right. We'll talk about the PlayStation handheld. I know it's rumors. Do you think Sony? This is one of my concerns. Right. This potential handheld could potentially be released alongside with the PlayStation 6. So it's its own device, but PlayStation dedicated handheld that plays games natively, and you got the PlayStation 6. Do you have any concerns with that combo? Because my only concern is Sony saying PlayStation 6 games must run. Me is the Xbox Series S dilemma now. Now you created that dilemma where now developers who make games for the PlayStation 6 has to consider weaker hardware. I'm fine if they develop it to run PS5 games because at that point, if a handheld comes out in 2028 and it's about the equivalent of a PS5, okay, that's cool. You just made a portable PS5. I'm fine with that. But let's make sure there's a distinction between your next generation hardware where you don't force parity with developers and third party. That way you'd be like, listen, none of the PlayStation 6 games need to work on the hand. I mean, if you make an indie and it's a multi-plat on every device, yeah, sure, put it on the portal. But we're not holding anybody to the PlayStation, let's call it the PlayStation Portal 2, PlayStation 2, whatever, Portable 2, whatever, PSP 2. Do you have any concerns with Sony's handheld direction, or going back into handheld gaming? Is there, or do you think it's great? Do you think they're gonna handle it well? Like, what's your overall viewpoint of Sony potentially going back into that handheld? Or do you think you
Yeah,
should
well,
just stick with the Portal and just stay with the Portal? Portal's awesome. It's cheap.
it's
It's $200.
I know,
Because
right? I
I
have a
think,
Portal. I love it.
oh, I
Love it.
love it. I love it. And I think the
But
next, if Sony does do a handheld, I think it's going to be one of those $600, $700, $800 handhelds. It's not going to be cheap.
yeah,
It's going to be
that's
up
just
there.
it. I mean,
Yeah.
you got to read the audience. Like the audience, the PlayStation fans, myself included, would love to have a successor of a PSP, right, or a Vita or whatever. They probably want to stay away from the Vita since that kind of bombed. But
Stayed away from that name. That name.
yeah, stay away from that. But you do have to read the market as well and be like, can the economy afford this combination? Can they afford this and that? You're gonna have to listen to that. Otherwise, I don't know how they can bring this console out, give it the power necessary, give it the longevity necessary, and expect people to purchase that. That's where I feel, with Xbox doing its partnership with their handheld here,
They chose the easy
it's
route
gonna,
and the smart route.
yeah,
They
yeah,
didn't create one. They just put
right,
their name on something that was coming out anyway.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that
It's
in a
easy.
way kind of works, but you're going up against Nintendo that has a chokehold on the handheld market. I think a Portal was a safe route, and they know, and we know now that they didn't expect it to be a hit, for it to sell nearly what it did. Um, is it the best thing ever? No. Is it sold like the best thing ever? No. But it did its job, and a lot of people are happy with it, and it did better than what they expected. Um, but if they can, I think they can couple next generation PS6 with something of a Portal, make it a little bit better. Maybe we'll see where we're at with technology by then, but we're so close. I don't know if you've messed around with the streaming on that thing, with the PS Plus
Oh, because
Premium,
I
but the
don't
streaming on
have the
that.
premium. I don't have premium,
Okay,
so I didn't even do the cloud yet. How is it?
yeah, it's fantastic. I was really, and the only reason I did the premium, people are gonna be like, you're a fucking hypocrite, but they do the black they do the Black Friday thing,
Expo,
right?
Astro Cyborg got you.
Exposed. He
Astro
got me.
Cyborg
It's
clipped
already
you.
clipped. We're
It's
done.
clipped. It's
It's
already
done.
on Twitter.
It's over.
It's already
Already on
uploaded.
Twitter right now. Right now. Just put it out. We're done. But the reason behind why I did is, so in order to re-up it, the PS Plus normal, right? The essential tier. They did the Black Friday deal, and they're like, hey, for an extra $30, was all it was, and it took me to whatever. And so I have it. Obviously, once it expires, I'm not going back up there. But since it's going through its thing, I tried out the cloud streaming, and it's really, really good. And I've done Game Pass's cloud streaming, and I think it's fine, but you can tell a little bit of lag. But the streaming on this thing is just so tight. The latency is very minimal. Um, so if they're able to do that and encompass that, and throw some deals in there, I think it's more aligned with a Portal rather than a true traditional handheld. You know what I mean? I think that's how they would have to do it if they're going to couple it with it. Unless it's its own thing outside of that, okay. But if it's a coupled thing, we're going to have to go with a Portal 2 or whatever.
I will say this: I was really impressed with the Portal because New York. So I left my PlayStation 5 Pro here. So I was playing Armored Core, Fires of Rubicon. So I think that's like a good balance of not too much of a fast-paced game like Call of Duty, but faster than like God of War and Horizon. So it's like in the middle where you need a little bit, right? And I was playing Fires of Rubicon on the PS5 Pro, right? Obviously, so I know how the game feels. I was expecting a little laggy or latency, whatever, and no, it felt.
Yeah.
I'm in New York. My console's in California, and it felt just as good as I was playing directly on my console. I did not feel the lag. I did not feel latency. You know, it just felt good. And the screen, like I'll be honest, I always say this: it's a stupid looking design. The design is stupid. It's just they literally took a controller, cut it in half, and put a screen in the middle.
Yep.
Like when I first saw that, I'm like, that is like, but it works because like the controller feels like you're still holding a normal console controller, DualSense, the feel, and the screen is in the middle, so you just got this nice large. And even though it's not OLED, it's beautiful. The display
Yeah.
is
Oh gosh.
clean, is beautiful, and you're just
Oh
looking
yeah.
at it, and you're just staring into the screen, and you're feeling a normal controller. It
Yeah.
feels like a home console. It felt like I have my own console, and it was awesome. So now, like, I don't have to travel my console no more. It's just an amazing experience on that. I'm like, wow, this feels so great. So I was impressed with the remote aspect, and I'm thinking, man, if they can get that, replicate that feeling with cloud, I can actually say you may not need a console in the future at a certain
Correct.
point. You may
Correct.
need just a little dongle, and especially if it's an all digital world, they moved on from physical disk, a little dongle, connect to your Wi-Fi, and you got a premium console experience, right? And then at that point, right, there's no more console upgrade. Whenever Sony decides to upgrade to the next generation, they do it on the back-end servers. You just naturally receive improved graphics and stuff like that without the need. I'm thinking, man, this might be possible. This might actually be a thing because it was smooth. I
Yeah.
was just impressed at how.
Yeah.
I think Sony. I think the only thing Sony has to worry about is how to replicate the marketplace, because cloud streaming has its own different restrictions, right? Like for example, would Epic allow Sony to cloud stream their game? Like, nah, you're not cloud streaming the game because then we could take care of that ourselves. So you know what I'm saying? So those, I think those are
Yeah.
the little
Yeah.
hurdles. You know,
Absolutely.
no.
It's
Mhm.
it's great. I've done the same thing, man. I've used my portal in multiple places, airports, hotel rooms, all across. I mean, from me on the side of the west side here, all the way over, like you said, you're in New York, I was in Florida. I mean, it works so good and flawlessly. I do notice some hiccups, and I'll be 100% transparent. There is a little bit of hiccups when you're playing something online. If you are messing around with Fortnite or something, an
Oh
online
yeah,
game,
that
there are
because
some
that's a lot
lag.
of data. Because now
Yeah,
single player is easy because it's just one way, and then
yeah,
but online games like Call of Duty or Fortnite or even sport, I would imagine sports might be a challenge, and
yeah,
fighters, that might be
yeah.
a hill, might
A
be
little
a
bit of
challenge.
a when you're needing every millisecond,
Yeah, those yeah,
straight to hit.
like
Yeah.
you need that 3 point shot and you're off by a mill and you
Yeah.
lose the game. You're like, the
Yep.
lag. You can always blame it on the lag. I lost the
You
game because of
can't.
the lag. Yeah.
The lag did it, guys. The lag did it.
Oh,
So
bad. Okay. All right. So I wrapped up my topic. Is there anything you want to talk about to wrap up the show? Is there anything you want to bring up?
let's I feel like I wanted to bring up just a quick topic about
Okay.
credibility as far as like trophies and stuff. I know a lot of people put too much stock into trophies or achievements and stuff like that. So for my question, or more so of an awareness thing, is as time has gone on, like I used to be more of a trophy and achievement hunter. When 360 came out, I was like, what are these? These are great. Love popping them. It just felt good. And by getting those, but as time went on, right, the more we have more responsibilities, so to speak, in life, I think people kind of latch on to, oh, you didn't get a platinum for this game, you didn't get, this and that for that game. I feel like it's a contentious piece of it because it's good in a way because it holds people accountable. Like, did you even finish the game? Okay, you have a trophy or achievement that shows you finished the game or the first level. If you're not finishing the first level, why are you talking about this game in depth? Like, you have no experience with the game, you don't have anything with that. But so there's a medium there, and I just wanted to see how you felt about that. Because with me, I feel it's been hard to let go of not getting a plat for a lot of my games. So I had to let it go and be like, I'm at least finishing the game. If I have time to get some extras, great. If I love the game, I'm going to go ahead and finalize it, plat it, 1,000 achievement, whatever. But yeah, I just want to see what maybe your thoughts were on that.
Okay. So I actually had this discussion with Blaze, and he finally understood what I was talking about. I'll start with the plat. The plat, that's just a hardcore metric of that, right? So that's most people are not going to do that. I don't do that. I don't chase plats.
Mhm.
Some of the games, the plat's ridiculous. Like, oh, to get a bronze, you have to jump up in the air, spin around 3 times, and sniper shot, a specific alien on the eyeball that's under his armpit. During the mission Moonlight mission. I'm like, what? Like, I'm not doing all that. That's like I would have to spend 3 hours trying to do that when I could be playing another game, right? So I don't do the plats. But when I do the whole credibility, really is not the going for the platinums. If you play a lot of games that people claim to do, you will naturally accumulate trophies because you don't have a choice. A lot of games, just simply beating each stage is a platinum. Upgrading a weapon is a platinum. Which, like some of the basic things you have to do in a game, you're going to get the trophy just by right of the game. You upgrade a skill tree, it's going to come out a platform. If you max out your skill tree, you're going to get a trophy. If you beat a boss, like some games, every single boss you beat, which you're going to have to beat in order to beat the game, you get like a silver trophy. So it's the certain games you will naturally get trophy, which means you're going to get a nice overall trophy profile. When I see trophy profile, so I pay attention more to the level rather than the platinum. Because if you're talking all this stuff in gaming conversation, you play all these games, all right? Let me see your PSN, and you're like a level 100, you're not playing a lot of games. Oh, I don't hunt platinums. You don't have to hunt platinums. Like if you look at my trophy level, it's a high trophy level, but I only got 19 platinums. The reason why my trophy level is so high is because of just the volume, the amount of games I play. The amount of games I play, I just stack gold, silver, and bronze trophies by a lot. It's just natural to playing a lot of games, right? So I think if people are going to talk about games, criticize games, the gameplays, and the hobby, then that means you're playing the thing, right? But sometimes you talk to people, it doesn't make sense what they're complaining about. Like, it just doesn't make sense. All right, so let me see your PSN or let me see your gamer tag. And then you see they hardly have anything. Or they only play Call of Duty. Like, if you only play Call of Duty, stay out of the single-player conversation.
Yeah.
Stay out of it. You don't play the single-player games to complain about it. Like, oh, these are walking simulators, they suck. Bro, you don't play them, so how would you know? You only play Call of Duty, you only play Fortnite. So just talk about that. You're not doing the diversity. You're not going into these deeper games and stuff. I think in the essence, when you hear conversation, it just doesn't make sense. That's when you be like, let me see your gamer tag. Let me see your trophy. And 9 times out of 10, they won't because they're not really playing games. And that's why their stance sounds ridiculous. You can tell, like, I don't think this guy actually plays a lot of games because the stuff don't make sense. Like, oh, man, Sony does these, walking simulator third party. I'm like, listen, Spider-Man plays completely different than God of War. God of War plays completely different than Horizon. Horizon plays completely different than The Last of Us. The Last of Us plays completely, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you actually play the game, which is what you're supposed to do, not just look at a screen with a viewpoint. Like, they show the screen, a viewpoint, and it's over the shoulder. Apparently, the game plays the same. Like, no, play the game. Right. You will see they play different. You got to do different things. You can't play The Last of Us like you're playing God of War. You're not gonna make it. You're not. That's not how the game goes. So when they do that, I'm like, let me see your PlayStation. Let me see your thing. And 9 times out of 10, they don't play a lot of games, and that's why they sound weird. So the that to me, that's a different thing. Oh, you ain't got no platinums. And I tell people, hell no, I don't. I'm not going to go on mission nightlife. You have to jump, sneak past 10 people, and the final boss, kill them with one shot with this specific weapon that you probably don't even like to begin with. Like, hell no, I'm not doing that. That's just too much time. Yeah. I could invest it in another game. Some games I enjoy the platinum, but when I look at the list, it's achievable. Maybe a little bit of work, but it's doable. But there's a lot of aggressive games. And some games that you have to play 2 or 3 times to get the platinum. Yeah. Like Nier Automata. You have to play that game like 6 times? No, I'm not doing it. I played it once. I love it, but I'm not playing the game 4 or 5 times. And some games, you need a trophy guide. Yeah. Some games I'm thinking, there's times I'm like, you know what? I want to platinum this game. I'm like, let me look at the trophy guide. And they show stuff, I'm like, oh my God, I would have never figured this out. And I'm like, I'm reading it, I'm like, oh, hell no, I'm not doing this. I'm just going to play the game, I'm going to beat it. Whatever I get, and I'm going to move on. So I think trophies and gamer tags is a good community check, but for the people that talk shit.
Yeah.
For the people that don't talk shit, like if you're just a gamer, you don't talk shit, and all you play is Call of Duty, you're fine. It's okay. You don't have a high. But if you're gonna talk and argue, and if you're definitely gonna say we're wrong about a certain game, oh yeah, we're gonna check you. We're gonna check your credibility. You know, and I think that's how I see it.
Yeah,
that's how I look at it.
Mm-hmm. I like that. Same anymore. You know, it's like I said, it's definitely an accountability check. You know, for sure on a lot of folks that like to talk and do stuff, and it's easy to check, and that's why you're saying like a lot of people like to now hide their profiles. You can't see. It's like, what do you got to hide? You know.
Oh,
so
King Thrash is the master of that, especially for the people. Oh, Game Pass is great. And the first question he asks, name me the last 3 games you beat from Game Pass, and they can't.
Yep. Easy, gotcha.
He instantly do that. He does that. Oh, but he catches them. They can't name the games they beat on Game Pass, and it's like, so why are you bragging about it? You ain't beating the games.
Yeah, that's all it is, because it's that option to brag. Like, we got this with day one games.
Bragging,
that's it.
But are you using it, right? And that's the thing, right? These Xbox, let's say, like content creators. That's where they should be looking at. Oh, it's a great option, but they'd be like, but hold on, are we really like us? Like if I was an Xbox content creator, I would actually ask, but are we really us exercising that option? Because I'm gonna be honest, I haven't been beating Game Pass games. So then they could actually look at the validity, like how many gamers are actually beating the games, right? There's probably some.
Yeah.
But if you don't have this mass casual standards, you're never going to get to the 80 million, to the 90 million subscribers. Right. There's probably not a lot of gamers that actually care to beat a lot of games in Game Pass. They're probably not. They're probably playing Fortnite more often than not. And they're just paying $20 a month to access online.
Yep. While they're buying skins and microtransactions on these free-to-play games.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, that just goes back to the whole combo. But yeah, it's where's the value there? Are you utilizing the value? You're probably not, because the stats are out there. You can look them up. That the free to play games are the ones being played the most on every platform. You know, but again, just one of those bragging rights is what it comes down to. So, option or not, but.
Somebody does, so Fortnite is free on Xbox. That's what makes it crazy. You don't even need Game Pass to play Fortnite. So it's like, and I say that's another challenge, right? As these things starts getting more expensive, gaming has alternate options to play games absolutely free. Like, even though they have the money transactions, you don't have to buy it. You could just enjoy the game for free. And you have Marvel Rivals, Fortnite. There's even RPGs and MMOs that are free. So there is a lot of selection of good free games to bypass all this stuff. Which reminds me,
tons of options.
One last topic.
Yeah.
$80 games. Do you think $80 standard could really hurt the industry now? Now they're, especially this gen. If they do it this gen, not even wait to the next gen in 2028. Like, let's say in 2026, the industry decides games are not $80 to include PlayStation. You know, PlayStation, everybody, Xbox, Nintendo. They all together, linked arm to arm. Gamers, $80. How do you think the gamers will react? Like, how would you see gaming, let's say if 2026, $80 across the board, another price hike in the same gen? Like, do you think that would be impactful, like negatively, like, oh, you guys screwed yourselves now?
You know,
how would you feel?
Again, I feel like, I think this can go a couple different ways, but if I'm being honest, again, how much is Timmy or little Jenny or whoever, how much are they spending on these microtransactions on the free-to-play games? I guarantee you it's more than $80 a month with some of these families and kids.
Yeah, right.
So with that being said, those that are so, and I'm not saying I'm super like, let's pay more, guys. People get that confused. But I also don't think $80 is out of the realm of like, I ain't paying that. Again, if Pokemon's coming out for $80, that's going to sell like hotcakes still. It doesn't matter. if you're having the next Last of Us Part 3, if that gets made, or Intergalactic comes out and it comes out at $80, people are going to buy that in droves. They're going to do it. Like, they're not going to like it, but they're going to do it because they're already spending that money. They're spending that money in free to play games. Most of us have probably played and spent a good amount of money in Fortnite skins. I
actually
alone have
don't.
paid a lot.
I'm
You
actually
don't?
not a no. I'm actually
Okay.
like I don't like other than DLC for content, like Burning Shores or The Witcher, Hearthstone, things like that. Like if I buy something, it's like it's like content for the game, like or map packs for like Call of Duty, right? When Call of Duty had when I used to play Call of Duty, I bought those. Or obviously expansion packs, of course. But like skins and dresses and gun, I don't give a shit about that. I don't care about an M&M printout, or I don't care about that. Oh, cool,
Yeah.
I got that. Like, nah, I'm not doing that. I just was never.
Yeah.
I just, I'm actually want like maps or expansion packs. I'm that guy. Give me maps, give me expansion packs. I'll buy that. I'm cool with that. I'm not buying like, oh, you get this power sword. I'm like, just
Not happening.
That's not doing it. It's the same sword. You just change the image. I'm not giving you $10 to change it. I'm not. I didn't do that for Destiny. I didn't do that for anything. That's just me personally. Like I'll pay for a map pack, or like when I play Destiny, I pay for the expansion to play the game. But you're not gonna have me buy a dance. I'm not buying no dances.
Sure.
I'm not doing that. I need content.
Yeah.
I need actual content that I can play. Even like Guitar Hero, I bought songs, or like Rock Band, but it's because I'm going to play that song. I didn't buy the cover album. Like, get out of here. What am I going to do with that?
The background.
But I'm probably rare. I'm probably, I don't know. Maybe I'm just one of those not in the norm.
I think so. And that's not a bad thing, right? Like I think that's more in the minority though, because I mean, that is where Fortnite's getting their money, right?
Yeah.
And Warzone and all that. And I mean, they have a player base that buys the stuff in droves, and I'm a victim of it. And when I say a victim,
you bought Fortnite stuff?
No self-control. I have bought way too much Fortnite stuff.
Really?
Way too much.
What did you buy? Like, what did you buy that you had to be like, oh, I gotta get this. What did you buy? Confess.
Too much of a Marvel fan. I'm confessing right now. Anything that was Marvel. They were coming out with Magneto skins, Wolverine skins.
Oh, you're buying it.
Came out with the Marvel stuff. I bought it. That's why I'm now.
So you running around like Wolverine?
Right?
Like, yeah, I'm doing it.
I was running around Wolverine with an AK. Like, that's stupid, but I did it. And then now it's sitting there because I got a chokehold because a big Marvel fan. I'm playing Rivals most of the time for my multiplayer game, right?
So that's your thing.
Now I'm really spending money. It's ridiculous because I can't
new
stop
characters.
myself.
Yeah.
New characters, new skins.
But you know what? New characters I'm fine with because they have a play style.
Yep.
Okay, I get it. You're playing the game, but they have a unique play style. I get that. But like a character, let's say like Spider-Man, and then they have new skin Spider-Man 2099, but he plays the exact same. It's like, okay, it's the same guy.
Yeah.
Pizza suit. You know?
I know what you mean. I think you have to be a certain fandom. It's got to get you, right? It's a good hook. And again, it's the hook, right? And so like the kids, they're going for what's the pop culture icon at the time. People are buying the pop culture icons, and they ain't gonna stop. Like, I gotta have it. You a big Eminem fan? You're gonna buy the Eminem skins. You're gonna buy, Snoop Dogg. You're gonna, you name it. That's how they get you. Your fandom.
Isn't it American Dad? Like they just updated Call of Duty American Dad.
That
is so weird.
It is so weird.
Like I'm looking at the gameplay. I'm like, that seems so off. You got this colorful guy running around in the map. Like, you're like a target. Yeah. Like, why would you want to wear that?
Yeah, it's just that's where it's like weird. It's like Fortnite'd Warzone is what they did. They're like, let's just do what they did. Throw them in there.
Back to the $80, right? You are correct. The big games, I think. But do you think this could make it harder for the smaller games? Like, for example, Intergalactic, Wolverine, okay. But what about Sorrows? How would that game be at $80? Would it be
with new IPs? You're right. But
You know?
Intergalactic's a new IP, so it just depends.
But it
I
has
think
Naughty
that's where
Dog.
they're in trouble.
It has Naughty
It
Dog
does,
back. But
as
Saros
opposed
is
to
Housemark.
yeah,
It's
Housemark,
like
right?
from
And
the makers of Returnal. They're gonna be like, who?
yeah, who most people
Who?
didn't play that a phenomenal game, but
I
most people
love it.
didn't play it.
One of my
Yeah, I
favorite
love it.
games. Love it.
Yeah.
But most people didn't play it. So it's like you can't
Hmm.
like Saros, for us that played it, we get it. But most people, if they see Saros and they see an $80 price tag, they're gonna be like, why is this $80? Who's it from? What's
Yeah.
it do? So
Yeah.
I think some games they're gonna have to be smart with this $80 price tag.
Yeah. They do, and you're 100% right. They have to again kind of look at the market, look at like here's new IP. What's the last game that sold from this developer? How did that do? We're gonna have to price this accordingly. We may even have to list this at $60. You
I'll
know.
be honest. Even I thought Return on $70. I bought it, right? New
Yeah.
IP. I was excited for it, but I think they overshot the price with that. That game should have been 60. I think more
Oh
people
yeah.
would have been more accepting,
Palatable.
palatable. Yeah,
Yeah.
would have been more palatable because the Housemarque's not that. Especially when you go from those indie over the top games that they were making, small the small indie type games, the smaller titles to now this bigger project. You know, you got to give them a little room to earn that reputation. You know,
Yeah.
I think if they
For
would have launched
sure.
at 60, I think people would have been more like, oh, let me check out this game. It's a new IP. The studio's developing. They're getting bigger. They're getting deeper into bigger developed games. I think making that game $70, some people were like, I don't know this studio. I'm writing it
Yeah.
off. Sometimes the initial impression is important. Get that
It
initial
is.
impression to get people, to get that FOMO through. But I think a lot of
Yeah.
people saw the $70 price tag. They're like, nah, I'm good. Yeah, I think they
Yeah.
lost a lot of initial sales with that $70 price tag. Because I was surprised how many
You're
people
right. They
didn't buy
did.
it. A
Yeah.
lot of people didn't really buy this game.
Yeah. Right.
It is
It's
great.
and I think that has to do. It is a phenomenal game. I even enjoy, but even at first, for even me, being a hardcore PlayStation fan, right? Just like most of their internal house first party games are just gonna more hits and misses, right?
Yeah.
So you're just like, yeah, I'm gonna get this, but I can see the protagonist being kind of like dry, right? They're just
Mm,
not a lot of personality, not a lot of you got to have a character that speaks to the audience that's good for advertisement as far as like what makes them cool, what makes you care about their story, how are you going to advertise that? And they didn't do that. They just said they showed the gameplay, that's great, but it wasn't like an indie game where it's like you don't have to care about a character, so to speak. You can
like,
sometimes
hey,
get
yeah,
away
I
with
get
that
it.
with the
Yeah,
gameplay,
yeah.
right? So I think that's what is a big driving aspect of everything. I mean, everybody knew Naughty Dog with before The Last of Us, but when they came out The Last of Us, what sold you? It was the story, the emotion, the characters, and you gotta drive that home. So
Point. If you're gonna do that type of game, it's important that you
yeah,
get that character, get that people to be like, oh, what is it about this character? What is she going through?
yeah,
Right. The gameplay loop is great, but you're right. They didn't really
yeah,
tie in what's like. They didn't really send the message of the story.
yeah, yeah.
All right, I thought I'd throw that out there. All right. Well, hey, so we're gonna wrap this show up. If you can give your shout out, what I mean by that, let people know where they can find you, your channel, the content, schedules, things like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I appreciate that. But yeah, just Xvault Gaming is where you'll find me on the channel, at least on YouTube. Of course, that's mainly what I do, and then I will stream there as well about once a week, and sometimes I will throw out an extra video instead. But anyways, you can find me at Xvault Gaming on YouTube. Yeah, I'll have about 2 to 3 videos a week. Trying to delve into more other gaming news as well, not just the salty batch files, of course. But I know you guys all love that. But yeah, expect more of that. And of course, I appreciate P Rock here inviting me on the show. You guys being the community, putting my name out there
Mm,
for him and everything like that. It's been a blast. So thank you. You could, of course, find me on X at your leisure, or if you dare, at Xvault 2 on there as well. So, but those are the platforms I'm at. And I again, appreciate everybody's continued support for me, for P-Rock, for all the great content creators out there. We wouldn't be here without you guys. So thank you so much. Appreciate that.
All right, thank you so much for taking your time to showing up. So I'll see you guys next week on Tuesday, 60 Frames No Like podcast with the crew. And then the following, we will have another disagreement day. All right, and looking forward to that. A lot of you guys are requesting more of that, so I was surprised how popular it got. So I'm glad you're enjoying that different aspect of that. So stay tuned for that. But anyway, your only friend, these YouTube streets, Puertorock77. Hope you guys enjoy your weekend, and we are out of here. You guys take care. Peace.